I agree.
We are live, by the way.
Wait. Oh, hi there. Hello.
Sorry about that. All right, folks. This is totally casual, totally unfiltered. I'm going to drink my first one here tonight is going to be a nice Sam Adams American Light. Crispy and smooth, it says.
Nice.
Crispy beverage. I don't have my hottest homie with me, but...
and I'll just say I'm drinking not coffee.
Not coffee. Well,
Cheers for election night.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be looking at some of the races that are super important to gun owners, super important to the direction of the state, super important to breaking the establishment death grip on the levers of power in Ohio. And so Rob and I have already been watching some of these numbers. And Rob, where do you want to start off? I mean, we're going to screen share so you guys can kind of follow along with us as we talk about some of these things. But
yeah,
let's jump right into the gubernatorial out of the gate. Let's do that. Let's go to the Secretary of State's website for that one. I think. Is
it this one, right? This one here. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. Here's the current vote totals as they currently stand. This is all very live. You can see the refresh at the top is counting down. So the thing that really sticks out to me, and for all those of you guys watching, this is still very early. I mean, very, very early. As you can see, we only have 1.8, or now it says 2.66% of precincts reporting for election day precincts. So most of the votes you see here on the page are early vote.
Right.
But what's very interesting to me is that there was no contested primary for governor on the Democrat ticket. And yet somehow they're still, what would that be? Roughly 38,000 votes ahead in terms of just raw votes cast so far.
Yeah.
I think those are going to change a little bit.
41,000 some change.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, I don't think that this margin is going to hold steady all night, just because typically Democrats do like to vote early and often. So I do think that this margin will definitely shrink, but it is interesting though that there's definitely a discrepancy here. Many more Democrats vote casts so far.
Yeah, and I think it's more of a discrepancy since the Republican Party has embraced to a greater degree early voting.
Yeah,
I think they've been doing a big push to embrace it. Everybody says, well, we don't like the system. We got to get rid of the system. Paper ballots, day of, all that kind of stuff. But they have been saying, well, while we have it, use it. And so, definitely the Democrats, they're going to, like you said, they're going to outperform Republicans. But
but the other thing that's interesting here is as I look at the Casey Putsch and Vivek Ramaswamy race here, obviously Vivek is winning big time in the early vote. I'm not surprised by that.
No.
Vivek has been running for governor since about this time last year, 2025, right? I mean,
yeah.
And before that, he was running for president against Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So he's been constantly running for office essentially for several years now.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised to see this. Everyone knew that Vivek was the heavy favorite tonight. But one thing I've noticed here already, Chris, since we've been live, is that this percent of vote margin down here has been it's been narrowing slightly. Okay, so I think when we first started looking at this, it was like Vivek had over 85%. Now he's down to 84.6.
Yeah,
I anticipate as we get more votes in, that margin will shrink. Because I think the day of vote's going to lean, maybe not 100%, maybe not 50 plus 1% in Casey's favor, perhaps, but
yeah, correct.
But he'll get more of a share than 15%.
His strength, Casey Putsch's strength will be in the day of vote.
Of course,
that's where he's going to get the better turnout in terms of actual percentage points. So go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and one thing I'm very, very interested in. Let me just toggle over here real quick. Let me look at the county breakdown here, because folks, what I'm very interested in tonight is, like, for example, you see here Adams County. We're talking about a county that's right on the Ohio River, southern Ohio, southwestern Ohio. This is just early vote. 0 out of 21 precincts reporting. Casey's already at 28.39% in Adams County.
Wow.
So, I think that's very interesting that that Casey's kind of pulling ahead of the statewide early vote total
Yeah.
in some of these very southern Ohio River districts. I'm assuming if we were to look at like Scioto, Brown, Gallia, those kind of counties down there in southern Ohio, I'd venture to guess that these would be very similar percentages here.
Yeah, he's got 28% in Brown. He's got 18% in Scioto County right now.
Yeah, yeah. So
19% in
definitely
Lawrence
pulling
County.
ahead of that 15-ish percent via the statewide vote.
Yeah, I think the number to beat tonight, if you're Casey Putsch, I think it's going to be that 21.8%,
Yeah,
which was what Joe Blystone got in 2022.
right,
That would be a significant milestone and a warning sign, I think, for the Vivek Ramaswamy campaign.
right. Because
Looking at the general election ballot.
yeah, because I think the big takeaway here is, the people that are voting for Casey Putsch and Kim Georgeton for governor and lieutenant governor over Vivek and Rob McCauley, is the McCauley and Ramaswamy campaign going to be able to pull those people back in before November, or are those
Exactly.
people, or how many of those people are they going to be able to bring back into the fold? Because if our comment section is anything, there's a lot of disdain for the Vivek camp. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here, not only in the final vote tallies here, but also what this means for moving forward as we get closer to November between Amy and Vivek head to head. So
yeah, I agree. And then I'll just interact with some of these comments as we have an opportunity here. Matt Warner says, Adams County lemon pound cake. I love it.
yes, I love that. I love it.
But there's a lot of people who are like, Vivek is the winner. Sorry, Casey doesn't have a chance. That's not the point. That's not
Right,
the point here whatsoever. Rob just kind of briefly touched on that right here. But yeah, I mean, and that's one of the big things that so many people who didn't even like, and we've got members from all sides of the spectrum here, of course.
Yeah.
So many people who they weren't even necessarily a Casey supporter, right? But they wanted debate.
Right.
They wanted a presentation of positions and arguments back and forth so that the people can see exactly what they're getting. Put the hot questions to both candidates, like put it all out there so people could see. And that never happened. In fact, I think there was a total ignoring of the Casey Putsch campaign by the Vivek Ramaswamy campaign. And that may be a winning strategy for primaries if you're the Trump endorsed candidate in Ohio and all that different kind of stuff. But it's in an election where we've been watching special elections all across the country go towards the Democrats because they have one message, and that is President Trump.
Right.
You need to get the base to turn out. And that was my meeting with Vivek talking about that. And we've talked about that ad nauseum around here. But it's Janice is being a dipshit. That's okay. We got plenty of dipshits around here. But
we can handle a few.
Yeah, and that's gonna be the coalition members that Vivek is gonna have to bring together and get him across the finish line against Amy Acton. Let's bust into some of these other more fun races now.
Yeah, okay? Where do you want to start, Chris? You want to go to the General Assembly here?
Let's quickly go through the other statewide.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's do it.
And then we'll take a look at some of these other things. So, and by the way, Janice, you just watch the way you talk on here. This is OGO's platform. I will drop a ban hammer on you if you continue all that kind of crap. So, just keep it nice, keep it polite, keep it civil, and we will too. Yep. So, all right, what do we got here?
Yeah, we're taking a look here at the Secretary of State's or the Secretary of State website for the Secretary of State's race, rather.
Yes.
So, obviously you've got there's two Democrats here running. Allison Russo, who was, I think, up until recently the
minority leader.
Minority leader in the Ohio House, and then this Brian Hamley guy, I don't know who he is. And then, of course, you've got on the Republican side Bob Sprague versus Marcel Sturbich. I think this was the race that a lot of people were very interested in. it looks like we've got Sprague ahead about 70-ish%. So, obviously that's mostly early vote. And I know that Sprague definitely had the money advantage in the race. I was witness to several of his ads, on TV and stuff like that. So I definitely saw, a lot more from Sprague. I think a lot of people think, Sturbich is more of the grassroots, firebrand challenger candidate, which, of course, as you all know, Marcel Sturbich was signed our survey 100% pro-gun for the Secretary of State's race. And Robert Sprague was sent our survey via certified mail, received it at his house, and then didn't fill it in. So he got an F rating from us for that. But
Yeah, by any account, by any objective standard, Robert Sprague was running for governor until that avenue got cut off from him by President Trump and Mike DeWine. And then he this is a guy who was in the legislature, then bounced up to where he's at now, and now he wants to run for Secretary of State. He is literally the definition of one of the Columbus merry-go-round riders.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, who else is in that? Frank LaRose is in that. Keith Faber is
Keith
in that.
Faber. Yeah. Definitely those three.
Yeah, these guys think they're the only ones who can run anything, and there's meanwhile, like, Ohio's been under Republican control for years and years and years, and like all the metrics keep falling and falling and falling with these guys at the helm of everything. So all right. So right now, what percentage of the vote is in? Where do you see that on?
Yeah, so you see right over here, precincts reporting about 4.09%. And as you can see right here, number of counties reporting absentee votes. So we still even have 4 counties that haven't even reported their absentee votes yet.
Yeah.
So we have about 1,200 outstanding, military, overseas ballots, and provisionals that have not been counted yet.
Yeah. So Bob Sprague doing a pretty good job on the early ballot.
Yeah, pretty good showing on the early vote for Bob Sprague. So we'll see how the day of vote shakes out. But that's kind of where things stand. Looks like he picked up a few votes here. I don't know where it's hard. You can't really tell where these precincts that it just refreshed where they're coming in from.
Right.
But it looks like he's widening the lead a little bit based on this last dump here.
Yeah.
So where do you want to go next?
Let's go to the treasurer's race.
Yeah, let's look at the treasurer's race. Okay, this one's very close. Wow, so far. I think this one might be one of the closest ones of the night. If this holds true here, but you've got Jay Edwards, who was endorsed by Vice President J.D. Vance. You've got Christina Rogner, who was endorsed by Vivek Ramaswamy, which is another interesting thing.
Yes, that is so interesting.
This is very interesting because it's going to be, whose endorsement holds more weight, the vice president or Vivek Ramaswamy. So, depending on how this race shakes out, I think that may have ramifications too for the strength of either, I guess, endorsement in Ohio politics moving forward.
I would say that is an extremely good sign at this stage of the game for Jay Edwards to be in the lead already. And it's important. I mean, this is a big red flag for us. This is an important thing to point out here, but Christina Rogner has been serving. I honestly hate it. Do you hate it, Rob? I hate it.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about, but
they're serving in the legislature, because these people, that the word it's serving assumed like gives you the impression that they're serving the people or the districts or whatever. And some of the legislators do. Some of them are great public servants, but the vast majority of them are there to service their career.
Well, their career or their special interest.
Or their special interest. And that's how they service their career, is by servicing the special interest crowd and the lobbyists and all that different kind of stuff.
Yes. As any financial contributions breakdown will show you very quickly who they serve.
Yes. And so Christina Rogner has been serving with Matt Huffman in the state Senate for years and years. And she's been campaigning around the state, like literally welded to Huffman's side, which is exactly what Matt Huffman wants. And if you guys are brand new to Ohio gun owners, Matt Huffman is the current Speaker of the House. He's a total scoundrel. And he wants to coalesce power around himself. We're going to talk about other districts here tonight. and flesh that out a little bit more. But Christina
Yeah.
Rogner certainly leaned into the entire establishment wing of the party, and so for her to be at this running at a deficit already against Jay Edwards is not a good sign, I would say, for Christina.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. This race right here is going to be very interesting to watch. It's going to be very close, I bet.
Yeah.
But of course, as with all Republican candidates, they all run as the most right-wing candidate known to man.
Yeah.
So it's hard to predict where the day of vote is going to swing. Generally, obviously, the day of vote will swing much more conservative than the early vote. So it's going to really, really be interesting to see. Let's see. Looks like Jay Edwards is gaining here. I think 51.9 is higher than it was before. I could be wrong. But anyway, so it's going to be interesting to see where the day of vote swings. And I might venture to guess that it's going to really depend on where people are from, because there were plenty of counties that endorsed Christina Rogner, some that endorsed Jay Edwards. So, obviously, I think Jay Edwards is strongest in Southeast Ohio, where he's based. Christina Rogner might be stronger in Northeast Ohio, where she's based. So,
yeah,
I think it's gonna depend on where these votes are coming from too.
Yep.
But yeah, very interesting. And one other note I want to add here too. Both of these candidates filled out our candidate survey for treasurer 100% pro-gun. But I think there's some important context here. We sent out an email earlier today kind of breaking down the candidates a little bit more, because sometimes when you get the ads and you're just inundated with all the stuff about each candidate, it's really easy to get lost in the noise. But, the fact of the matter is, I think it was, when was it, Chris? 2020 or 2019? I forget what the year was, but Christina Rogner was the chair of, when she was in the House, was chair of Federalism.
2018.
Yeah, House Federalism. Yeah, maybe it was that far ago. But she was, correct me if I'm wrong, but she was holding up constitutional carry in committee. Is that right, as chair?
Yeah, she absolutely did. And then she lectured me, though, how now is not the right time. And you gun owners just think you should always get what you want when you want it. And I'm like, yeah,
wow,
it's the Second Amendment. So, I told her then, look, we don't take these kinds of lectures very lightly. They tend to come back up at some point down the road, and that might be happening tonight. And again, she's been a co-sponsor on a bunch of bills. She's generally voted the right way once bills get to the floor and things like that. But look where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And you look at what the Democrats are doing. When our side has power, it's time to move, and that's just a problem. That I think is coming home to roost right now here and tonight. But let's jump into this. First of all, Rob, nice shirt, by the way. I love that shirt.
Yeah. No homo, but I like your shirt too, man. I really do. I think we kind of got the theme down pretty good tonight.
I think we did. We walked in like, hey, what's that? And I'm like, hey, what's that? And it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
But tonight is all about casual analysis, folks. So, and by the way, where did I see that just a minute ago? Jennifer Thomas. Oh, Chris, are you going to make me be nice tonight? Be on your best behavior, Jennifer. We're watching. Let's jump into the state Senate. We got a good one right out of the gate here.
All right. Yep. Let's do it. State
Start
Senate.
off with Senate District 1.
Oh, wow. Well, check this out. So we got Senate District number 1, big heavyweights here. Jim Hoops, who's been in the legislature on and off since 2002, I believe. He's been around Cap Square a time or two. 44% of the vote. This looks like let me just click in here to this county breakdown here. Okay, so we got 0 precincts, 0, 20, 0, 0. Okay, Henry County. This looks like a stronghold for Jim Hoops here in Henry County. Okay. That could be where he's from. I don't know 100% certainty, but that's would be my guess. Putnam County's not even in yet. Van Wert, Williams. So what I'm seeing here, there's a lot of counties that don't even have the day of vote even in yet, and Craig Riedel's already got a pretty healthy lead. Looks like. It looks like something just changed here. So there must have been a big data dump here, because now it's got him almost tied statistically.
So again, he's running against Craig Riedel. Riedel has been in the the Ohio House. He was a
Yep.
staunch ally of gun owners. Had an
Yep.
excellent voting record.
Yeah. I think we came down on him with an A rating, I believe. On the Second Amendment. Jim Hoops, I think we ended up with an F. He did have a very generous C minus, um, considering all of his anti-gun votes, and but then we started digging more and found some gun control organizations had actually given him money, and obviously that's not okay.
Yeah.
So we changed
And the
that
thing
rating.
about Jim, okay, so and he also voted against the Second Amendment Protection Act on the
Right,
floor.
right.
But every time I talk to Jim Hoops in the Rife building on the third floor outside that little lobby out there by the elevators, every time without fail, he comes to me and says, Chris, we need to talk about a red flag law that you can get on board with. And I'm like, ain't happening, Captain. We don't do that kind of stuff. You don't got enough money to pay me to do something like that and sell out our members. So, yeah, this one's going to be a nail biter.
Yeah, this looks very close, very close.
Yep. But we'll come back to that one. Let's jump down to the next Senate district that we're paying attention to.
Yeah, let's see.
19.
Yeah, I think the 19th is one that we were very interested in as well. So let's go down here to the 19th. Okay, here we go. Oh, looks like this is very interesting here.
Yeah.
Beth Lear 45, Ryan Rivers about 54%. That's very interesting. So let's do a little county breakdown here. I think there's several counties in here. Looks like Beth has the edge in Delaware so far. Only 2 precincts of 180, so there's still a lot of vote to come in there.
A lot of votes outstanding.
Yeah, a lot of votes outstanding. Coshocton is looks like it's 65% in right now. Pretty healthy lead there for Ryan Rivers. But obviously the lion's share of the vote's going to come from Delaware. So this race will be determined probably in Delaware is my guess. Knox County, I think Beth already represents part of Knox County as a current state representative. So it looks like she has a slight edge right there.
And again, Beth Lear, former legislative aide to the now deceased Representative Ron Hood, just like you, Rob.
Same. I'll drink to that.
But and also bill sponsor for House Bill 498, Ohio gun owners Tier 1 legislation, the Ohio Self-Defense Act. It basically comes back and grabs everything that was left on the table during the Stand Your Ground fight. So this is a big race for gun owners. Of course, Ryan Rivers also, surveyed with us. So what do you get, an AQ rating?
AQ, yep, for his 100% survey.
Yep. So there, I mean, honestly, if you're a legislator, or if you're a candidate, or not a candidate, if you're a voter and you sat down and looked at these two and you don't really know the history of what somebody like Beth Lear has done, with these gun bills, it's kind of hard to make a decision just based on the gun issue alone.
Yeah.
We'll come back to this one. Let's jump over to the House districts, right?
Yep. Let's do that because I think those were the only 2 on the Senate side, I believe, that we were tracking. So let's go to state representative here.
31. Let's go to 31.
Yep. 31. Let's see. District 12. Brian Stewart's got the lead there. Just scrolling through. Wow, lots of Democrats here running. Let's see. 31.
Yeah. And honestly, anytime you see one of these Democrat districts where there's 4 of them all lined up in a row, it's literally a race to the bottom.
Oh,
you're eliminating any vestiges of blue dog democracy in the Ohio General Assembly, and they're replacing them with outright radical communists.
Yeah, who's the most communist? Exactly.
Yeah, they hate you. So
it looks like this is a very low vote total. So looks like Cahoe's got this is probably the early lead advantage here, 70-30. Let's look at the county breakdown here. It's just Summit. Okay, so just Summit County, no precincts reporting here. So this is just solely. Oh, I got to scroll all the way back down here. Solely early vote. This one's still very early. No, we can't. There's no way to call this just yet. Of course, Stephanie Stock got an AQ rating from Ohio Gun Owners. She signed the survey 100%. She's also been pretty heavily involved in just the freedom movement in general, very involved in medical freedom, stuff like that, if that's something you care about. Mike Cahoe just outright refused our survey. I believe he told some folks that he just wasn't signing surveys, but yet he signed others, I think. So I don't understand that one.
I understand it. This
yeah,
is the deal with Mike Cahoe. Mike Cahoe donated $80,000 of his own money. This kid's like, how old is he? Like 21, 22 years
he's
old.
definitely younger than me, that's for sure.
Yeah, younger than you. And he donated $80,000 to OROC, which is Matt Huffman's leadership pack that he's using to punish conservatives this time around. And so this guy is wholly owned, lock, stock, and barrel. He's got no like life experience behind him. He just has the caucus apparatus, and they're using him as a vehicle to try to make sure that Stephanie Stock never makes it into the legislature. That is exactly what's going on with Mike Cahoe.
Yeah.
Total extension. The whole focus of that race in House District 31 is the re-election of Matt Huffman as Speaker. That's what he's doing. He's dumping money into that. So
yeah, and I believe wasn't it didn't we find some lobbyists that were contracted for gun control organizations funneling money to Cahoe also?
We sure did.
Yeah.
We sure did. I'm trying to remember that one in particular. Maybe
there was some AI
Jacob.
money too, right?
Yeah, AI money.
That's right.
This just like completely like a wholly owned subsidiary of the establishment and the special money interest groups in Columbus. So
right.
Which are becoming increasingly more and more global companies rather than even just like in Columbus companies. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Crazy.
All right. Should we move on?
Yeah, we'll be watching 31 all night, folks.
Yep. There's still plenty more votes to come in here. This is only the beginning, so we'll be here watching that one for a while. Let's get down to what was another one? House District 40. We didn't really cover this one too much. These were both well, I don't know if we want to cover it or not, but
40, Rodney Creech and J. Todd Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't like drop into that race at all, but we know both of those guys. And honestly, Rodney Creech is a co-sponsor of the Second Amendment Protection Act this time around. He voted against it last time. He made some changes and he jumped on board. So that's really cool. J. Todd Smith, both of these guys signed our survey 100%. So we are not in on that race. I imagine this is his last 2 years, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
After this, he's termed out of the House anyway. So I think we'll see J. Todd Smith back, and that's probably a good thing. So what else we got here?
Let's see. Let's get down to
my favorite district. House District 45. Jennifer Gross is winning 100% of the vote because she is unopposed because she's one of the greats.
Yes.
So that's
100%
fantastic.
A+ rating and is 100% in the lead. So we love to see that.
Keep at it, Jennifer. Keep at it. You're doing good.
That's right.
All right. Where else we at now?
Let's see. We didn't get involved here either. We actually didn't get a single survey signed in this race.
48.
48. But I know that Christina Hagan was a state representative a few cycles ago. From that, I think that district's over in that like Alliance area, somewhere in there. So
very famous last name in Ohio politics.
Hagan. That's right. Yep, the Hagan name's pretty strong. So I'm not surprised to see her pulling through so far there. Now let's go.
Then we start getting into more exciting things.
Yeah, so let's get to House District 60. Brian Lorenz, A rated by Ohio gun owners, is in the lead so far, 78%, 21%. So that's a good healthy lead for Brian. I'd say he probably doesn't have anything to worry about in this primary. If this is the early vote, I think that's
survey with us right away. He's always a co-sponsor on our bills. I think he might be on at least 2 of the 3 of our tier 1 bills this cycle. So that's good to see right there. Peggy did not fill out her survey, from what I understand. Correct? Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah. Let's talk about what do you got going on here in 61.
Now this is very interesting here. Of course, Andy Brenner versus Sean Stevens, House District 61. We're talking about part of Delaware County. I think it's like the part of Delaware, part of Knox. Kind of like it's kind of a weird looking district. It's like kind of the city of Delaware and some of the Galena, Sunbury, Westerville, part of Delaware County, and then you've got some parts of Knox, kind of like to the west of Mount Vernon. So we're looking at Sean Stevens 54.5 to Andy Brenner about 45.5. And let me just break this down. She looks like Sean's got a decent lead in Knox, so that's very interesting. With about 26% precincts, so there's still plenty of votes to come in there, but looks like Stevens
Oh
has a pretty
yeah,
decent lead there. And this
yeah,
is
and
very interesting right here because Andy Brenner has been in elected office for the last 16 years.
yeah,
8 years in the House, 8 years in the Senate, and now
and
is
now he
trying to get
wants
back to
8 years
the
in the
House again.
House again.
Yes, he's trying to get back into the House again. And it looks like he's barely edging out Sean Stevens in Delaware County, 50 to 49. So basically a statistical tie, only 5 votes here.
5 votes.
And with only 2 precincts reporting in, there's still plenty of votes here to come in. So, so anything can happen here. But this is definitely Andy Brenner's stomping grounds. He's been representing Delaware County for quite some time.
I've always wondered, because a lot of people after we started kind of like shining the light on Andy, they're like, dude, this guy doesn't even like have a job outside of, like, it's supposed to be a part-time legislature, right?
Right.
And this guy doesn't even really have a job outside of being a legislator. I'm like, well, that's like a whole bunch of these legislators, just so you know, folks, like when we're on the phone with them, like this is all they got.
Yeah.
But I always wondered this question, Rob. And again, Andy Brenner, he's one of these Huffman loyalists. He probably has a tramp stamp tattoo of like Huffman's name, right? I mean, that's just the kind of guy Andy Brenner. But I always want to ask the question, if you've been in office for like 16 years straight,
right,
how do you run in a Republican primary and say, if you elect me, I'm gonna X? Like,
right.
Dude, you've had 16 years.
Yeah, it begs the question, like, well, why haven't you done it already? Yeah.
What the hell have you been doing this whole time?
Right.
Right? I mean, it's
like the fact
crazy
that Andy has never, to my knowledge, never sponsored a gun bill by himself, right? Never prime sponsored one.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. I mean, he's on the dole, voted for a gun control bill, but in 16 years, he never prime authored a major gun rights bill. I can't even wrap my mind around something like that. Right. Can't even figure that one out.
Yep, for sure. So
crazy.
That's this race. Let me just kind of quickly.
I'm gonna mess around with the presentation here for a second, Rob. Sure. So you can keep doing that. I just want to see if there's any better way of.
I can even try. Well, I guess I can't zoom in too much more. Maybe I can.
Oh, check this out. This might be good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. I'm just looking at the different outputs that we're doing right now. So if you're watching on Facebook, you can watch it in vertical or horizontal. We're transmitting in both.
Yeah.
We're also on YouTube doing the same thing.
Yep.
So we want to make it as easy as possible for you guys.
Yeah, and if things looked a little funky, it's because we're messing with Zoom and trying to figure out the best way to fit this in the frame.
Exactly.
So apologies if things are looking a little funky.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's House District 61, Delaware Knox, 54-45 looks like as it currently sits.
Here's a comment from YouTube. What site are you guys on? We're on the Secretary of State's website.
Yes. Yep. So this is all. It's liveresults.ohiosos.gov if you want to follow along. Liveresults.ohiosos.gov. All these results are published there, and they're updating in real time. So these are all very much very, very up to date information. Very up to date numbers. All right. So should we talk about House District 62 here?
Yeah, let me scroll back down. My computer just refreshed.
Oh, yes. Okay.
It's kind of a pain in the butt. I wish it'd come right back where it was.
Yeah, I know. That is kind of a pain.
Yeah, District 62. This is one of those split races. Gene Schmidt was a bill sponsor for us, one of the joint sponsors on the Second Amendment Protection Act. Dylan Blevins, an OGO member at one time, also an AQ rated. You really couldn't lose on the gun issue between the two candidates, but it looks like Gene Schmidt's doing well in the early balloting.
Yep, and then we're talking about Claremont County. I think it's like mostly the western side of the county,
Western.
kind of like closer to Hamilton County area, Eastgate area, Milford, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So it looks like only 6 precincts reporting, still plenty of votes here. But Gene Schmidt definitely has the edge here in the early vote. So we'll be. I think that's one of these races that we'll be watching too, just because it's probably going to be a close one. Because the other thing too, people might not know is this is actually round 2
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
these two went head to head 2 years ago, and it was a nail biter race then.
Yeah.
So this is
Very close.
definitely going to be close. I bet this is going to be a very close one yet again.
Yeah. Yep.
So let's see. Let's keep going down here.
66.
Yep,
Aiden
House
Haggard
District
versus Sean
66.
Hudson.
Yep. So we were involved in this race a little bit because we have an AQ rated candidate here, Aiden Haggard, 30.8%. Sean Hudson, another Republican candidate. I think this is like the Medina area up in Medina County. Sean Hudson did not fill out our survey. I think he refused it. I think and for that we gave him an F rating. Just didn't want to put his position on gun rights on paper. We discovered that he is, I think, currently a prosecutor for the city of Medina. And of course, if any of you guys are familiar with the fights that we've had over the years, the prosecutors and their association have definitely been opposed to gun rights bills for many years. So obviously, we were looking at this race with a keen eye because of that. So. And of course, we had Aiden Haggard complete our survey 100% pro gun and earned an AQ rating from Ohio gun owners. And so that's where this race sits right now with Sean Hudson with the healthy lead there.
Yep.
I'm assuming this, Chris, and I this is kind of speculation. I don't know for certain, but I'm sure this is probably another Matt Huffman special here.
I guarantee
putting
it.
his thumb on the scale. So that'd be my guess.
Yes. Well, I got another refresh, so
okay. I'll just keep scrolling down here till we find another
go
one
for
here. Let's see here.
81.
Yes. Yep. I'll go get there. All right. House District 81, Brandon Moskwa versus Patty Rocky. Brandon Moskwa was the only candidate in this race that surveyed with us 100%. Patty did not complete her survey. But she definitely has a very healthy lead here, 71-28. So with that kind of a lead, with already 5,500 votes in, I'd be shocked if Moskwa pulled this one out. Looks like there's quite a few votes already reported here. So,
yeah, and this is the system that grassroots Republicans are up against because
right.
We all saw the letter a couple of weeks ago. It was a letter from Matt Huffman to the Ohio House or to the Ohio Republican Party, the ORP, asking the ORP to endorse his slate of candidates. And so a lot of these races where it might have been a fair fight, all of a sudden, and I'd have to check that letter again.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, if somebody like Patty Rocky gets the endorsement from the Ohio Republican Party, well, then she also gets to run mail out at 17, 18 cents per piece on postage. She gets to run as the endorsed candidate before the people in that district even have a chance to weigh in.
Right.
And then the endorsement always comes along with the leadership PAC's financial assistance, and and the speaker's PAC is being funded by the Haslam family, the sports bettors, all these AI data centers. They're all funneling money into Matt Huffman because they want to control the opposition, right? We have all of these angry grassroots that are getting all fired up about a bunch of these different issues. And so instead of dealing with all of those individually, what those entities are doing is they're dumping money into the speaker. They sit down and they have a meeting with them and say, hey, we want X, Y, and Z legislation. In return, we'll dump money into your campaign account. That happens all the time. Of course, everybody always attacks Larry Householder. Every speaker pushes money around or pushes votes around in exchange for money to keep them in power. That's the way the game works in Columbus. And so you look at a race here, Brandon Moskwa versus Patty Rocky. Well, that could easily be another one where the grassroots candidate is instantly at a fundraising disadvantage, a spending disadvantage, a media disadvantage. They bring ad creation capabilities. They bring the creative. They design the mailers. They do everything. It's a campaign in a box once you get the ORP's endorsement.
Yep.
And that is the rigged system that's going on here right now in a lot of these different races. And I'd have to look at the list and go back through her campaign disclosures, but I think I know what you'll find there once you do.
Well, I know one thing that was interesting too that I've just, as you were speaking, remembered here is that I remember when I was looking into Patty's her contributions history in terms of who she's given money to in the past, because we like to do a deep dive on these folks. Just to make sure we know everything that there is to know about these people. I discovered that Patty Rocky here. Oh, okay, it just refreshed on me. Hold on. Ended up giving thousands, I believe, to the State Central Committee PAC or the Republican State Central Committee in general. And then that was like a year or two ago. And then, of course, now this year she got the endorsement by the party State Central Committee. So I just thought that was also very interesting that happened.
Yeah, it's a big sham.
Yeah.
So let's go to District 86 real quick.
Yep. Okie doke. All right, here we go. So, all right, looks like Ben Weber's got a lead here with 44%. to Wesleyan Davis's 28.8 and Stephen Wolf's 26.9. It looks like there's a decent amount of votes already cast here. So let's just look at the county breakdown and see what's happening here. It looks like Ben has a pretty healthy lead in Marion County and is edging out with everybody else in Union, which obviously is where the majority of the population is in Union County in this district. So interesting to see that Wesleyan actually is coming in third in Union County. But I think all three of these candidates are based in Union County. So I guess all three of them have a claim to Union County. But this is interesting because if you guys have been paying attention, I believe Ben Weber received an AQ rating from us for his 100% pro-gun survey, but we had to rescind that within the last week or two.
Yeah,
because we discovered that he was getting money funneled to him from lobbyists that were contract lobbyists for the gun control crowd. And every
other special interest organization out there. And I mean, it's just like this is an issue that's going to have to be focused on like with a laser microscope going forward, because it is so critical for people to understand that the candidates that you are seeing have been chosen for you, for the district, by these special interest groups. And so you can go through and read all these financials, and it's like, my gosh, do you have any support from in your legislative district? And overwhelmingly and increasingly, the answer is no. It's all money coming out of Cap Square at the State House. And so this is one of those instances. And Ben Weber might be good on the gun issue, but the problem is the system, the special interests that these people are coming into office beholden to have everything except for your freedom in mind.
Right.
Okay. They are at war with the Ohio way of life. They want to use Ohio tax dollars to build out the infrastructure for these global companies that are going to take everything out of these districts and put nothing back in. Nothing for jobs, nothing for revenue. All the profits go out of the state, out of the country in many instances. And they're essentially harnessing themselves, these companies, they're hooking themselves to the teats of the Ohio taxpayer, and they're milking everybody dry.
Yep.
And that's what's going on here. It's just an awful thing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think you hit it right on the head. But that's why elections are so important, because that's where these decisions are made right here. I mean, this is it.
Yep. Check out District 88.
All right, let's go. Gary Click versus Eric Watson. Wow, this is very close. Okay, this is very close.
Nail biter.
This is going to be a nail biter. Gary Click versus Eric Watson. Of course, Eric Watson, AQ rated 100% pro gun survey. says he's going to be a fighter for gun rights in Columbus. And then you've got Gary Click, who I think we generously gave a C- to originally, Chris. Is that
Yeah.
right? And then we
Yes.
found that he was getting direct contributions from the gun control lobby and their contract lobbyists.
Yeah.
So we had to downgrade his vote accordingly.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
let's
Plus, the guy voted against the Second Amendment
and that.
Protection Act when he
Yep.
told me to my face that he had never read the bill.
Yeah.
So and he's been going around. This is a guy who doesn't have a personal life. He is absolutely dependent upon being a legislator for any respect in life, or a paycheck, or retirement, or insurance, or anything like that. This is all he's got. So he's another one of those guys with a tramp stamp of Matt Huffman tattooed on his lower back, and he's been bragging all over the entire Cap Square about how he's a total shoe-in. Well, it doesn't really look like his district likes him too much right now.
Right.
We got actually, I think this looks like this is the entirety of the race. Does that look like it to you,
Let's
Rob?
see. It looks like, yeah, I'm showing here 100%, 100%.
So Gary Click won re-election here by the skin of his teeth.
Right. Yeah.
By the skin of his teeth.
Yeah.
And so this for us was just more of like a pleasure race. We had a great old time. We're like, let's just do it because we're bored, and let's jump in here and kind of expose him for what he is. And honestly, he almost got his ass handed to him. So
right. This is very close. Very close. So
that's pretty interesting to see.
Yes, I think this is probably going to be much closer than anyone on Cap Square anticipated, and so they're going to be looking at this one with a micro or a magnifier very closely.
Yes, and I would say that a lot of times when you're challenging an incumbent, like the uphill climb that you face,
right,
is intense. Like the whole system is weighted against you.
Right.
Eric Watson. I saw some of his social media stuff. He put together one hell of a campaign and a great door knocking operation. So what my point is, a lot of times it takes that first run to get your teeth, to cut your teeth on campaigning. He did a great job of that. My guess is friggin' Eric Watson is coming right back in 2 years, and this is the Eric Watson show. Because thank God, narrow-shouldered, overly tall Gary Click, the big dumb doofus who doesn't even read bills before he votes on them. He's term limited. He's term limited. Mr. Tramp stamp tattoo of Matt Huffman, Gary Click. He's term limited. So that'll be I think we're going to see a lot more from Eric Watson in the near future. So
yes.
That's fantastic. Anything else that's contested right here in the House side? Because I want to get back to
look at the House District 93 here.
Oh yeah,
Larry Kidd versus Jason Stevens. I think Larry Kidd refused our survey. We mailed it to him. He didn't fill it out. Jason filled it out without hesitation. He was the House Speaker once before. Actually brought SEPA to the floor at the end December of 2024, allowed that motion to take place, allowed the vote to happen. That gave us the vote that we've been using. Obviously, we didn't get it, but it put everybody on record, and that was because of Jason Stevens' leadership. Obviously completed the survey 100%.
Everybody was in a rage at us. They're like, oh, he's blue 22, blah blah. Matt Huffman, he's gonna hang the moon and weld a big huge edition of the Second Amendment above the dais right there in the Ohio House if he gets elected speaker. And we're like, yeah, bullshit. This guy is a total swamp creature. How can you guys even believe that? Anyway, Larry Kidd was recruited specifically by Huffman to try to take out Stevens because Stevens put rock solid bills on the floor of the House for a vote, and he exposed a whole bunch of people in the process. There is a reason why Gary Click almost got taken out tonight by Eric Watson. It's because Jason Stevens put SEPA on the floor and got a vote. There's a reason why Sarah Carruthers is no longer in the legislature anymore. It's because she was opposed to these bills that Jason Stevens was running. So
Yep.
this is a big thing for Jason Stevens to basically stand up and give Matt Huffman the giant middle finger that Huffman deserves. I love to see it. So
yeah.
Oh, we got one more. We got one more.
Oh, yes, we forgot about this one. Oh, wow, look at that.
This is the biggest one of the night. I forgot about it for a minute.
Yeah.
Wait, this one's going to call for a fresh, crispy beer. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, so we got Ron Ferguson here doing very, very strong out of the gate. 62.6, 37.3 to Frank Hoagland. Looks like a very strong showing here. I'm curious how much of this vote is in, but I think that's a very healthy lead. If that's not all the votes, that's a very healthy lead right now for Ron Ferguson.
Yeah. So Ron Ferguson is like the number one architect of any kind of legislative nightmare for Matt Huffman, right? This guy loves to use the rules to punish the speaker for not doing what the grassroots wants him to do. Ron Ferguson does it better than anybody in the Ohio House right now. So he recruits. Who does he recruit, Rob? He recruits his old friend, State Senator Frank Hoagland, who I think he recruited him for the state Senate back in the day too. So Frank Hoagland, the one of the co-sponsors of DeWine's red flag gun confiscation law, Matt Huffman recruits this gun grabber to try to take out Ron Ferguson, and we're like, wait a minute here. Are you saying you're going to try to bring in red flag Frank to try to take out Ron? I think the gun owners are going to have to say something to say about that.
Right.
Oh, Huffman. And the funny thing is, Rob, I think I've told you this before. I kind of liked Frank.
Yeah, he was always a friendly guy.
He's a friendly guy. He's a little angry, former Navy SEAL. But I had a meeting with him after he jumped onto that red flag bill for DeWine. I'm like, Frank, what the are you thinking, bro? And he's like, and he's always chewing tobacco, He's like, you can't shoot worth a shit. He's a former Navy SEAL. I'm like, of course I can't shoot worth a shit compared to you, Frank, but you can't do politics worth a shit because you just signed on to DeWine's red flag bill, bro. And he's like, you probably can't drink beer worth a shit either. So we went out, we had a few beers, and he kept mocking me because I don't know how to shoot compared to him. And I kept mocking him because he forgets what the Second Amendment's all about.
Right.
So anyway, he tried to take out, and when he called the office, Rob, you're the one who talked with him.
Yeah.
Explain what that was all about.
Yeah. He called the office right after he filled out the survey, or maybe he was in the process of filling it out. I can't quite remember exactly, but I remember him telling me specifically that Matt Huffman asked him to run. And that was the thing that really stuck out to me, was that the only reason he's running is because he has Matt Huffman's support and encouragement.
Why would you say that out loud?
Yeah, he told that to me directly. Like that was some kind of, something that was gonna mean something. Well, it did, but it didn't mean what he probably wanted it to mean.
Unbelievable. I'm gonna check out these percentages here real quick in these counties.
Yeah.
Way over there by the river, right across from Wheeling.
Yep.
Belmont, Jefferson, and Monroe counties. Okay, we got 100. So this is the thing here. We got 100% of Monroe reporting. Obviously, it's the lowest part of the vote count in the district. But Ron Ferguson hauled in 63%. Frank Hoagland's 36%. You got to make up a lot of territory in places like Belmont County.
In Jefferson County,
Jefferson County, in order to make up for those percentages. I'm not talking about the vote.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the percentages.
Oh yeah.
And you look at these other two counties, you see a similar pattern. You see 65-34 in Jefferson. You see 58-42 in Belmont County. So
yeah,
Hoagland's got a lot of ground to make up tonight, and I don't think he's going to do it. Rob, what's your over under on this?
Oh, I think I think I think the chances of Frank pulling this off are slim to none. Let's just say that. I think they're slim to none. I think, well, let me just break this down again. So it looks like 36% of the vote in from Belmont. That's Frank's best county right now. He's sitting at 42%. So I mean, he would have to flip the script right here in Belmont County.
Yeah.
I mean, big time.
Yeah.
In order to make up that ground, and I just don't see it happening. I mean, usually these
No.
percentages will hold true throughout. I mean, very very few changes.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
unless there's a big, huge metro, population center that's, still coming in. That's Frank Hoagland's, stomping grounds. But
right.
I don't see it. Well, number one, Frank's not a people person. In fact, one of the reasons why I like Frank Hoagland, this is one of the biggest reasons why I kind of liked him individually. Now, we don't let our individual relationships with these legislators ever cloud our judgment. That's why we came in hot and heavy, exposing Frank Hoagland here. But he showed me a video on his phone of him. He's like, "Hey, you want to see a Suburban learn how to fly?" He's always got that huge wad of chew in his lower lip, right? Yeah. You want to see a Suburban fly? I'm like, yeah, sure. Who doesn't want to see a Chevy Suburban fly, right?
Right.
So he pulls up his phone. He's like, "This was just yesterday morning," and he shows me this video, and like he's an explosives expert, and he like blows up this Suburban and like launches way up in the air. I'm like, dude, that is so cool.
Yeah.
And so half of me is like, oh man, I hope he doesn't get super ticked off at me that I'm telling everybody that he publicly co-sponsored red flag laws because the guy's an explosives expert. But I know Frank. I don't think he's going to come that unwound on me. But hey, this is our job. We do politics. We do gun politics. We don't let personal relationships get in the way of advocating for our members to the legislative class, and that's what we had to do with Frank Hoagland here. And it looks like the voters out there in House District 96 are going to relieve Frank of the burden of public service.
Yep.
And honestly, at the end of the day, I think Frank is going to be like, good. I don't want to do that anyway. Last I heard, Frank had a camper, and he's going all around the state of Ohio to all the places that Simon Kenton was known to have camped all around the state of Ohio. And
that's pretty neat.
Going to those places. I'm like, Frank, go back and do that. You're not an ass kisser by nature, Frank. Just don't go there and slobber on the backside of Matt Huffman. It's so gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
Sure.
It's disgusting. Now, speaking of disgusting,
what you got there?
I'm a big fan of Sam Adams, right? And I love that flag. I got that flag.
Yes,
it was the Sons of Liberty's flag.
That's nice.
And so I looked at this one. I'm like, I got to have that just because I like the can design. And now I'm looking at it and it says Blueberry Lager.
Oh, really? Oh,
bro,
come on.
That is not good.
Man.
But here I go. All right, let's go back to the top of the ticket. How about that?
Let's do a check-in. Let's do governor again. Let's check in here.
Yes.
Let's see. We got what's the percentage? 35% of precincts reporting. Okay, looks like Casey's sitting at about 18, Vivek at 81.9. So, obviously Vivek still winning big. I don't think him winning was ever in question. But I definitely have noticed, I think last time, Chris, we tuned in here, Casey was sitting at about 15% of the vote. Is that right?
Yeah.
So this is definitely a little bit higher. So it looks like if this 35% number is correct, that there's still, 65% of the vote remaining to be counted.
Yeah.
This number could go up more. So
yeah,
and the margin, it could.
What would you say? We're going to be watching Adams County down there like a hawk. He is at 70-30 down there.
Yeah, so he's already pulling almost double, not quite double of the statewide average down there. But that's that's interesting for sure, because I mean that's kind of ground zero for where this part of the state's kind of ground zero for his Silicon Valley of the Midwest, right? His idea.
Yep.
So it's going to be really interesting to see how these numbers fall when the dust settles.
Yeah.
If this holds true or if it's a lot closer than this. So.
Well, and this is precisely where I told him when I met with him. I'm like, this is where I think the problem is going to be against Lion Amy Acton. And just for those of you low info voters who like to come on here and who are like, what are you going to do? Vote for Lion Amy? Okay. that is the stupidest thing in the world to talk about. All right, because we all know what Amy Acton is. In fact, it was us here at Ohio Gun Owners who were like leading some of the rallies outside of the State House against DeWine and the Dr. Lockdown and their total tyranny. Like there's photos and news stories of us running these rallies, not just in Ohio, but Google the Door Brothers. You'll see a lot of information there. And people, and my point to Vivek when I met with him in person was, look, people aren't sitting there trying to figure out if they're going to go vote for between Amy Acton or you. They're trying to figure out if they're going to get off the couch and go vote for a Republican at all.
Right.
And I said, in particularly the 2 tiers of counties along the Ohio River Valley, that's where I think this race in November could be won or lost.
Yep.
You know, and that is where the disconnect comes in when he's standing there saying we want to make the Ohio River Valley the Silicon Valley of the Midwest. It's like, have you been down there and talked to some of these people? You know, and so this is what the Vivek campaign is going to have to figure out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and that's always the big question. It was never about, is Vivek going to pull it off in the primary? No, it's always about, is Vivek and his campaign going to be able to pull these people back in? These people, down in Adams, Brown, Scioto, Gallia, all like you said, Washington County, all these folks along the River Valley. Are they going to be able to pull them back in, or are these people just going to stay home in November? I mean, that's the question.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what the campaign is going to have to get to work on.
Right.
Very, very hardcore.
Yep.
And sell. You're gonna have to get down there into the River Valley there and sell Silicon Valley to these Southern Ohioans, these Appalachian Ohioans. Right. So you got to sell that hardcore and see if you can make it stick.
Yeah,
I know a lot of them. All I say is good luck.
Right.
Good luck.
Yep. Good luck. That's it. Okay. Let's go back. Let's go check out the Secretary of State's race again here.
Can we jump in on the judicial one real quick?
Sure.
I saw a comment of somebody wondering about that because I was wondering myself between O'Donnell and Andrew King. No, we did not survey this race, and we should have. But I did meet with Andrew King at a Young Republicans Christmas party a little while back, and he was talking very favorably about the Second Amendment, but that doesn't mean anything to us. We don't. A politician's word is the lowest form of political integrity.
Right. Yep.
Right, Rob?
Absolutely. Yes, it is. So
what do we got going on here?
Looks like Colleen O'Donnell is currently ahead in the plurality, 32.8. Andrew King in the second place, 29.5. Still plenty of votes, only 41% in. So this could change, but it looks like Colleen is she's currently in the lead. Andrew King coming up in second place, right on her heels. So this one will be another interesting one to watch. So.
Yeah, definitely. I would think that Andrew King has a pretty good chance in a lot of those Southern Ohio places as well. And
sure,
both these candidates are going to have their strong suits, but for sure. Yeah, let's get out of the judicial anyway.
Okay. All right. Let's jump over to Secretary of State.
Yeah.
All right. So it looks like Sprague's holding on to the 70-30 lead here. Very healthy lead for Sprague. I'd say this is going to be pretty hard to make up the difference on for Sturbich. But very strong showing by Sprague on this. I was honestly thinking this was going to be much closer. I think a lot of people were thinking that.
I did too. Yeah.
So the fact that Sprague has pulled this massive lead is interesting. But this is another one of those things where Sprague has institutional money. He was endorsed by the party. He had access to all those resources. Sturbich was definitely more of the outsider, firebrand, candidate.
Yeah.
In the race. So, the odds were already stacked against him. I'm not saying that as an excuse, but that's just kind of the reality of the situation here.
So, we'll obviously we're going to be digging into the financials once the smoke clears from this primary. But I think you're going to see astronomically larger amounts of money spent by Robert Sprague to buy this kind of exposure and resulting votes
Yeah.
than what Marcel Strivich was able to put together. And that's at the end of the day, and this is what's always rich, right? Like you got all these politicians that we're putting pressure on right now, and their attack on us is you guys are just a bunch of scamming fundraisers. All you guys do is fundraise. These guys don't even need to fundraise because the lobby crowd, the lobby core, know that they're going to get behind these guys every election cycle,
Yep.
and because they get what they want out of the legislature, out of these statewide offices, they get contracts, they get whatever. And so the politicians, they do, projection, right? They turn it around and say, you guys are just fundraising to enrich yourselves. Meanwhile, these guys get all the special interest lobbyists to line up and donate millions in some cases to their campaigns.
Yeah.
And that is what's so hard to overcome.
Yep.
As a grassroots candidate. That's it right there.
Yep.
So we'll be digging into that just to kind of like come back and do an after action report later on. But that's the way it is. I want to set some records straight here. We got this one comment. It says, "Oh, but Chris, remember you were so attracted to Sarah Carruthers, according to her." He's referring to must have been talking about the Gary Click ad, and we talked about Sarah Carruthers, how she's no longer with us in the legislature because it came out that she was against SEPA. And that was one of the attacks that she made against me. She's like, "You're just obsessed with me or something." I'm like, "Sweetheart,
yes.
no way, not a chance. If we were the last two people on a deserted island, I'd shoot myself dead." But thanks, Ephraim Dan Chase. Nice little comment.
Nice. Love that.
That's pretty good. That was pretty good.
Should we jump into the comments here, see if there's any questions we can answer for a second?
Yeah. So somebody says, I don't even know. That whole living wage thing, I'm just not even going to go there. What other ones you see in here?
Let's see. Someone's asking for an update on House District 31.
Oh yeah, let's do that one real quick.
We'll just do that one real quick for you, Jeff.
Yeah,
we'll get right over there.
We'll do a speed route. We'll do a speed run through some of these races, and if you guys got ones that you want us to take a look at, we'll do that really quickly. So Dave Kessler says the same thing. Dave Kaiser says, "How did Stephanie Stock do?"
Yep. Looks like she's currently at 33.5% to Mike Cahill's 66.46%.
All right.
And let me just look at the breakdown here. Only 6.2% in.
What?
But yeah, that's what it says here. 23 of 371 precincts reporting in Summit County. So
what's going on in Summit County?
Well, I mean, Democrats run that place, so your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah.
But
in the books.
But looks like Cahill has a pretty healthy lead there. So Stephanie is going to have her work cut out for her to make up the difference.
Yeah, and just so you all know, I saw her video on this yesterday. Cahill, unemployed, hasn't ever had a job or whatever. He's like 21 years old. There's been 24 mailers into the district on this race from his campaign or from OROC, which is Matt Huffman's PAC that he runs all this operations out of. 24. So Stephanie Stock was definitely enemy number one to keep out of the legislature. So
24 mailers, is that right?
24 mailers.
That's a lot. That's a lot of mail, guys. I mean, each of those mailers. I mean, if you think about, because obviously we were digging into the numbers here. We were, of course, we're doing our due diligence. We're finding out how many Republican voters are in these districts. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of people. And if you're putting a piece of mail in each one of those households, we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars each time they send one of those things out.
Huge.
That's not including any other type of advertisement. So, I mean, that's a lot of money being thrown around. I mean, no question.
Yeah. Let's jump to 61 real quick. How about that?
Oh yeah, that's a fun one. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Okay, let's get down here to House District 61. I'm sorry, guys. I'm moving quick. I'm just
While
trying to
you're
skip through
scrolling,
here.
I'll pop this question up. What do mailers cost for the rest of us? Well, if they're getting nonprofit rates, so they're probably getting 16, 17 cents per piece postage because they get the party's nonprofit stamp status. They get total advantage over their opponents. So
Right.
19, 18, 19 cents for postage plus 10, 11 cents for the mailer in the creative. So they get to run stuff out the door at about 30 cents, whereas anybody else is going to have to spend 50, 55 cents per piece
Yeah, I've heard of
of
some
mail
people
out
with
the
the
door.
private mailings, like private slicks, costing upwards of like $1 a piece. You know, if you're just running your own one-off, I've heard of some shops charging about $1 a piece.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
depending on
the
depending
party,
on me,
the
yeah,
party is just absolutely putting the screws to
yeah,
these conservative candidates when
yep,
they get in here and do these kinds of things. So
yeah.
um,
Okay, all right. You
all
ready
right.
to dive into
61, my
Yep.
favorite race of the night. What do we got going on, Rob?
Andy Brenner, 44%. Sean Stevens, 55.9.
How much is in?
Let's see. Let's look here. 53.4% roughly of precincts in Delaware County reporting, and Sean is ahead in Delaware. And
Oh, that's
also
bad news for Andy.
that is actually very bad news for Andy because that's his stomping grounds. He's represented Delaware County for years and years. Um, so this is an indictment right here of Andy Brenner right here. This is an
Yep.
indictment.
Yep. It's also an indictment of his wife. It's an indictment of his wife because Andy likes to stick his wife on people. His wife is all over the place. I don't even remember what her name is right now. Very forgettable, but like she is the most like Karen person you've ever met in your life. And he sicks her on anybody that offends him. Like, and he's got very delicate sensibilities or whatever sensitivities. I mean, he's the kind of guy that, like I said in my previous video, he's the kind of guy who brings a salad to a tailgate party.
That's right.
He's the dude who claps when the plane lands. You know, that's the kind of guy he is. But anyway, the voters are taking a sledgehammer to his political career tonight.
Yeah. So obviously,
what other way could you describe it?
yeah, I mean that's pretty bad. I mean, I guess we don't know for sure which of these precincts that these votes are coming from. I mean, these could be precincts. I think Sean is from like the Sunbury area. So I mean, these could be precincts kind of on that side of the county. I think Andy's more like Delaware City based or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's just it could depend on where these votes are coming from inside the county, but this is still big. This is still big, guys. I mean, he's losing by 10%. I mean, and this is pretty late now. We're getting later into the night.
Yes.
Knox is all in. Delaware is more than half in. I mean, we're kind of getting to the late stages of this race. So
yeah,
that's pretty big. I mean, that's a big margin.
It is big, and I think it honestly one of the biggest things that this boils down to is that this guy should have known to refund gun control money when it came poured into his campaign. This is a guy who for 16 years didn't do a damn thing. He didn't sponsor his own gun rights bills ever. He was always a follower.
Right.
And this right here says one thing. We are sick and freaking tired of getting the shaft by people like Andy Brenner who only ever do what leadership tells them to do in order to get reelected. That's the definition of the Brenner family. That's what's happening right here, right now with Sean Stevens versus Andy Brenner. That's it.
Yep.
I
think there's a lot of truth to that, but obviously we'll let the votes decide.
That's right. They could prove me totally wrong yet tonight. So
yeah, well, we will see. And then here's an update here for just because we're right here, 62. It looks like Gene's pulling ahead pretty healthy here, 62.5 to 37.5 roughly, against Dylan Blevins. Looks like let me just take a look here, 87%. Yeah, looks like Gene's coming in hard here.
Yep.
Where am I at? Yeah. So it looks like Gene is going to be. I'd say this one's probably going to be too much for Dylan to come up and overcome.
Yeah.
Gene, I don't know what happened down there this time, but it looks like Gene's pulled the last contest between these two was a nail biter, and now Gene's pulling ahead big time. So I don't know what happened down there, but that's interesting. All right. Anybody else have some?
Well, we'll say hi to Daniel Boyer checking
Yeah.
in from Columbiana County in East Liverpool, where the water is fun to drink.
What's up, Daniel? Glad
How
you're
you
here,
doing,
man.
Daniel? Glad to have you here with us tonight.
Proud renewed member. Well, thank you so much for your support, man. Really appreciate that.
Yes.
So
yes. I want to check in on this House District 86 one.
Oh, yeah, let's do
Wesleyan
that.
Davis, Ben Weber, Stephen Wolf. You know, it looks like we're kind of in the same boat that we were earlier.
Yeah. It looks like these percentages haven't really changed much. 44.67% for Ben Weber, roughly 30% for Wesleyan Davis, 25% for Stephen Wolf. So not much has changed there. Let me just take a look at the breakdown. Most of Union's in, about 2/3, just shy of 2/3 is in for Marion.
Yeah, it looks pretty tough. Looks pretty tough from Wesleyan or
Stephen Wolf.
Stephen Wolf's perspectives right now.
Yep.
And this is always one of those races where you're like, my gosh, Stephen Wolf and Wesleyan Davis, they could have put together a much better challenge to Ben Weber if they weren't running against each other.
Right. That's true because it looks like Ben. I think it's going to be also hard for Ben Weber to pull ahead of 50. So he would just get the plurality,
right,
not the majority. So
right.
That's very interesting.
There's easy enough votes there between Wesleyan and Stephen in order to have beaten Ben Weber. But that's a conversation that'll be interesting to have once we get to the State House. It's like, dude, like you look at your financials, man. You're not calling your own shots. What the heck's going on here? But anyway, that's for later on. That one's a totally solid R district, correct?
Yeah. I mean, Union County, Marion County, both solidly red. I think Union County slightly more red than Marion County, but I don't think that this seat's in any danger of going blue.
No.
So this is the election right here. You're looking at the election for state representative, essentially, right here.
Definitely, yeah. Yep.
Of course, we know that the Gary Click Eric Watson race is essentially over. Looks like Gary squeaked it out by about 600-ish votes. So small margin for the incumbent there.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else got some races they want us to check in on, or you know what? I got an idea. How about we check in on what was the other nail biter race, Chris, we were following? Let's see. Steve, looks like Jason Stevens is roughly 64% of the vote. I think that's a pretty healthy lead right there.
Bounce back into that 96.
Yep. Ron Ferguson still got a really healthy lead, 62.5%. I don't see. Let me check this here real quick. 100%, 87, 76. Even in Belmont County, which is Frank's best county here in terms of results, Ron's still pulling ahead 60-40. Looks like Ron's got that one pretty easily. So I think Ron's got this one in the bag.
Yeah, I think we can call it.
yeah. I think we can comfortably call that now.
Yeah. Stick that one up your ass, Huffman.
Yeah.
All right. I told everybody we're going to be a little bit more casual here tonight.
This is definitely casual. Yeah. It's like Christmas. This time of year only comes around twice every 2 years. And
that's right.
So it's like a Christmas. Oh, check this one out, Chris, right here. State Senate District 1.
That's the nail biter we were
this
talking
is it.
about.
Yep. Craig Riedel, 50.59. Jim Hoops, 49.4%. That is and 41,000 votes, guys. That's a lot of votes right there.
Yeah.
So this race right here brought a lot of people out. Let me just look at the breakdown.
It looks like only
Hardin County. And some of Williams. Okay, so Jim has the lead in Williams County. So with only 4 more precincts to come in, so he'll probably get the lion's share of those votes. But then you've got Hardin, which is only about not even halfway in. There's not a lot of votes here by comparison. Right. But it looks like Craig is winning there pretty good, 61-38.
Yeah.
So I think this one's still going to be close. If I had to put money on the table right now, I'd say Craig pulls this one out, but this one will be close. This might even go to a recount.
And just so everybody knows, Jim Hoops was endorsed by the incoming Senate president. Help me out, Rob.
Bill Reineke.
Bill Reineke.
Yes.
And had the entirety of the establishment's backing that we've been talking about.
Yes.
The good news is that Craig Riedel had been a pretty dang good legislator, representative for a lot of these areas already. So he wasn't starting off from square one. He'd run for Congress once.
That's right.
Maybe twice. I don't even know.
At least once.
Yeah, at least once. And had some pretty good name ID,
Yep.
So that's what is probably a huge contributing factor in this race.
Yeah, but speaking of name ID, I mean, Jim Hoops has been in government, well, not consecutively, but I think he started his political career in the early thousands. So, he's been in and out of office, for about 20 some years, with some gaps in between. But Jim Hoops was definitely, speaking of name ID, I think the Hoops name was pretty big up there. And I mean, the name kind of speaks for itself, right? You can put the basketballs, on the O's. I mean,
yeah,
some of that messaging helps. He's got a natural advantage with that.
Yeah. And he's got one hell of a beaver pelt for a hairdo.
You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. When you're right, you're right,
That's right.
When you're right, you're
and
right.
Like I said, this is unfiltered tonight. So
that's right. Yes. So we can talk about beaver pelts till the cows come home.
Honest observations.
Yes. All right. Let's look at Senate District 19. Ryan Rivers still got a lead here, 46 and 2/3 to 53 and about a third of the vote in Ryan Rivers' favor. Let's look at the breakdown here.
You know what I think is going on here?
What's that?
I think what's going on here is that Beth Lear is getting some of the blowback from the Andy Brenner situation.
I think you're probably right, because I think there was that speculation, right, that they were just they made a deal to swap seats, or I think that's what I'm just throwing out what I think I heard from some folks up there. That was the accusation. So whether or not it's true,
she's been linked with Andy Brenner in this,
right?
And now that's what's happening.
But I can definitely tell though that in terms of Delaware County, Beth, in comparison to the Andy Brenner, Sean Stevens, Beth is still squeaking out the lead here in terms of votes.
Yeah, she is. Yes, she is.
She is definitely outperforming Andy Brenner in Delaware County. And I still think, Coshocton, Holmes, Knox, those are all 100% in, so those will not change. But, Delaware, I think this is where this race is going to make or break. There's only about 54% roughly rounded up of the precincts, so there's still plenty of votes still to come in. So let's look at this again.
And for her to pull this off, she needs to drive up her percentage in Delaware County.
Yeah, Delaware has to show up big.
If she could drive it to 56%, that would make this race.
Yeah, but if the votes are only coming in like 51 to 48 or 40, that's
not enough votes.
That's not enough to make the margin. She would have to the remaining vote. She would have to win probably, by a wider margin than that.
Yeah,
so
it's looking tough.
It's going to be close. But yeah, that's still a tough lead. There's just shy of 2,000 votes separating them. So we'll continue to monitor this. This one's definitely going to be another close one of the night. So
yeah. Let's jump back to the treasurer's race. How about that?
Yeah, we haven't checked in on that one for a while, so let's look at that here.
Oh boy.
Looks like Jay is pulling ahead. I think when we looked at this last, this one was almost 50-50 split. Am I right?
Yeah.
So, now we're looking at Jay's kind of pulling ahead, 53.6, 46.3. What this is telling me here is as the margin gets wider, we're getting more day of vote. Looks like Jay was definitely the favorite in folks that actually showed up at the polls today. That's my, that's my analysis there in this race. So of the day of voters, Jay Edwards was the favorite. And I'm assuming that Jay will now have this one, unless Summit County hasn't come in yet, who knows? That's where Christina Rogner is based, where her base of support is mostly. So, I guess there's still votes outstanding. We're only at 56% of the vote in. But this is a pretty healthy lead for Jay, about 30,000 votes. So, actually 40,000. Sorry, 40,000 votes.
A lot of people were talking about this race as, kind of like the quintessential old establishment versus MAGA.
Yeah.
And Jay Edwards representing the MAGA faction, and I think we're seeing some flex of power here tonight in some capacity, because again, Jay Edwards had the resources to put together a real campaign.
Right.
We got JD Vance to come in and endorse him when Vivek had endorsed Christina Rogner. I mean,
Right.
it's just a very establishment versus anti-establishment. Isn't it crazy to think about? Like, I'm talking about the vice president as like an anti-establishment force,
Yeah.
political force in this race here. I mean, it's
Right.
crazy.
Right. Yeah. No, that's interesting. Um, but yeah, so I mean that's the breakdown here. I mean, I think for Tina to overcome this is going to be pretty difficult. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, this is JD Vance versus Vivek Ramaswamy right here. We're looking at it in real time. Um, the weight of JD's endorsement versus Vivek's. So
yeah,
that's going to also be analyzed in the coming days and months for sure.
yeah.
So
I'm just looking at like Summit County right now with this race. 39% of the vote is in
okay,
for Summit County, and
what's
she's got 67 to 33.
yeah, so I'm not surprised by that. That's where Christina has represented Summit County for her entire legislative career. That's where she's from.
Yep.
I'm not surprised by that in the slightest. So she
I'm
will
also
continue.
not surprised in seeing like Warren County. It's like if there's one thing that Tina Rogner had plugged into, it was the evangelical Christian
Right.
crowd.
That's right.
And they weren't so much grading on the ability to do the job or stand up against the establishment and people like Matt Huffman. They were simply basing it on their understanding of her Christianity.
Right. But
Right.
you've got, by contrast, you've got Washington County, which is a county that Jay Edwards, I think, has at least previously represented in the past as a state representative, 68% in his favor. That's not a surprise either. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Benton
those are
County,
less
76.
populated counties, but he's
Yeah.
definitely running up the numbers there to
Yep.
counteract what's happening in places like Butler County, Warren County,
Oh yeah.
Claremont County, Brown County. She's winning both of those, by the way. She's winning Brown County and Scioto County. That's kind of crazy. 50
Interesting.
49 though, so that's probably still might
But
still
then you've
flip.
got Adams where he's ahead 61.6% to
Yeah,
38. So,
yeah.
so it looks like some of these river counties, the valley areas are kind of very split. Really depends on where you're at.
And
Looks
to
like
me, this is an interesting race to take a look at, because you this is kind of how I think it would shake out with a gubernatorial general election. These are
yeah,
problems that I see, these counties down here along the river, where Vivek is going to have to come in and sell, and whereas you have Jay Edwards who's coming in here saying, no, we don't want all that. We don't really want the Silicon Valley in the Ohio River Valley. We
right.
are very proud to be Appalachian. We're very proud to be where we're from. We love our culture. We're ours is the story of Ohio. And that is obviously connecting with these voters down here, as you can see by these percentages. And again, this is what I've said in conversations before. We're not talking about the most populous counties down here,
Yeah,
but we are talking about a significant enough margin that could make or break a statewide race.
yeah.
And
This is
so
true.
Jay Edwards' results here, I think, are illuminating some issues that the Republican Party is going to have to deal with as they begin to start looking at November.
Yeah, because I mean, just for example, I'm going to break this down. I'm just using Adams County as the example here, 61% in Jay Edwards' favor. Now I'm going to switch gears quickly to governor and just look at the
There you go.
contrast by Adams County for governor of 70-30 in Vivek's favor. So I mean, there's still a decent amount of people that that
Wow,
there's
that's actually going in heavily in Vivek's favor.
yeah, I actually thought it'd be a little bit closer than this down there.
Yep.
Um, but you still got 30%. Over 800 people said, "Hey, this is not what we want." Um, so that's very interesting.
Yep.
Um, It looks like if you guys are curious where the governor's race stands right now, 82 to 17.8. So it looks like Vivek has actually increased his lead by a little bit here in terms of the vote share.
Yeah.
But there's still votes coming in. So
Yeah. And again,
we'll
this
see.
this boils down to one of those things. It's like, what are you going to do with political power?
Yeah.
And that is so rapidly coming to the forefront of the average voter's consideration, because we've all watched now time and time and time again where Democrats get power, they instantly use it, right? We watched what happened in Virginia very recently, for example. We're watching what's happening right now. The articles are all on Axios and on Politico every day about how the Democrats' redistricting strategy, now with the VRA being thrown out by the Supreme Court, we got some of these Republican legislatures or states like Florida, for example, instantly going in and redistricting. The Democrats are looking at this like, okay, the moment we get power, we're absolutely redistricting everything. We're, all these different states, we're gonna come back in. California is talking about zeroing out the Republicans in their state as far as congressional representation.
Yeah.
This is how far they're willing to go. So Republicans, the average voter who's watching Fox News, is seeing all of these warning signs everywhere, and they're like, oh my gosh, why aren't our Republicans doing this exact same thing? And so we talked about this in this treasurer's race. You've got a great, fantastic piece of legislation with constitutional carry that, she didn't move out of her committee when she had the chance. We have a great bill in her committee right now by Al Catrona. It's the Second Amendment, or the Freedom to Carry Act.
Yep.
Takes Ohio from a concealed handgun license to a concealed weapons license state, applies permitless carry to the entirety of all of that, allows you to carry a rifle in your vehicle under permitless carry or under your permit, whatever. It's like the total freedom for firearms. It sat there in her committee. It got put in her committee like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, no,
and she had a golden opportunity to hold a press conference and hold a committee hearing and say, Al, come present this to the committee. We want to get a vote on this in the next 2 weeks. She could have called the committee in there, but she didn't.
Right. And we were even putting out alerts, Chris, just letting our members know, hey, she's not holding hearings on this. What's the deal? Why don't you give her a call and find out? And because, if she's like we said earlier, she did fill out our survey 100%. So she's claiming that she's very pro-gun, but you've got one of the most pro-gun bills in your committee in a long time. And you have the opportunity to take action on it. Yeah, you have the opportunity. You have the power to bring your committee in, schedule a hearing, and start moving the process along. And you don't do that. Now, I want everyone to think, if you were the chair of a committee with one of the most pro-gun bills ever, and would you not schedule a hearing as soon as you could? I know I would.
Cha-ching. Give me the rubber stamp.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, exactly. Let's just let's do what the Democrats do. We'll have one hearing, all testimony, and we'll put it up for a vote in one hearing.
Yeah, do it.
And then boom.
The Democrats do that to us.
Oh yeah.
We are the only side playing by the rules. Well, we're not going to stoop to that level. Screw you. Get the hell out of the way then, and put somebody in that position to ram this stuff through, because I'm sick and tired of losing with dignity. Right. It's time to freaking fight to win. And I think that's what's going on here. She had a fantastic pro-gun bill sitting right there, custom made to have a hearing on, and she's running against Jay Edwards. I mean, co-sponsored every bill, gave us a heads up that Speaker Huffman was trying to screw us.
Yep.
On constitutional carry back in the day, and she didn't do anything. It's just,
I don't understand it, because
she's a good Christian. Everybody keeps telling me, but she's a good Christian. I don't want somebody who's nicer than Jesus. I want a Samson for the times that we are in.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we are not called to be that. I'm not supposed to be nicer than Jesus. Our primary purpose is to glorify God and enjoy him forever, as the Catechism said. It would have been very glorifying to God to put that gun rights bill right in for a hearing.
Yeah,
That's what a good Christian would do.
I agree, especially someone who says I'm 100% pro gun.
Yeah.
When you have the opportunity to move one of the most pro gun bills in the General Assembly out of your committee.
Yeah, what's the Bible verse, since we're talking about Christianity here? Don't show me your faith by your words, show me your faith by your works.
That's right. Yeah.
It's pretty simple
Yep.
principle. But a lot of times these people just get suckered by their feelings on all these different things. Oh, well, we don't want to offend anybody. And, so and so, one of these legislators is on family vacation. I didn't want to call the committee in because, that would really, we're looking forward to this and blah, blah, blah. And so and so, he's trying to run in his campaign and I didn't want to offend them and blah, 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 blah. That's just the kind of bullshit that goes on. And, you can see what's happening right now as a result. Jay Edwards is cleaning her clock.
Yeah. So I mean, I hate to say it, but I think she's kind of done it to herself.
Yeah.
She could have taken this issue and owned it. And she just didn't,
Yep.
So sadly.
Yep.
Uh,
What else we got going on here? Should we go back to the state legislature?
Let me just highlight this comment here real quick, Nick. Rogner holding up that bill, which I would not have known without Ohio gun owners, is the exact reason I voted for Jay Edwards. I was originally a Rogner supporter. That's exactly what we're just talking about.
Yeah.
So
here's a comment. Rogner is not establishment. She was Tea Party when she started. I'm sorry, Nick, but the Tea Party is long ago dead. And what happens very quickly in Columbus, in case you didn't know this, is that the political class they excel at taking people who come in with the greatest of intentions. They sear their conscience by breaking them and putting them in charge of some committee. They force them to choke on a bill, and now that person is malleable. Now, then they come in and say, hey, we like you. We're going to help you out with your reelection campaign. We got all these donors. We want you to have this fundraiser. We're going to have all of our people come in and give you money. And all of a sudden, Tea Party, that doesn't mean crap.
Yep.
Doesn't mean anything anymore. And all you have to do is look at all the pictures that she's been posting lately. She's at this event. She's at that event. She's at the Reds game. And she's always standing there right next to Matt Huffman. Don't tell me she's not establishment, Nick.
Right.
The Tea Party was 2010, dude. That's a long time ago. That's like 16 years ago.
Right. I know. It's hard
what
to think
happens
about,
to these people in 16 years? Let me tell you.
Just ask Andy Brenner.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, Kurt says, geez, Ohio is screwed. It's never screwed as long as real Ohioans don't give up. Yep. So don't ever give up. I've said this before. I'll say it again right now. These politicians like to view themselves as the main character of the story, and they like to make you feel like you are simply there to watch them and assist them and be a resource for them as they plot their own main career character through the story of Ohio. But it's a total lie. The people are the real story of Ohio. They built the state, their grandparents, their great-grandparents, all the way, I said this in my video the other day, all the way back to the Simon Kenton pioneering the Ohio wilderness. It is always the people that are the main characters of the story of Ohio. And as long as we never forget that, and also acknowledge that Christ is king, then nothing can ever take Ohio down. These politics, we might go through rough patches, but as long as we got our king and our guns, these people are never ultimately in charge. And that's why we sit right at the helm of the biggest, nastiest gun rights organization in the state of Ohio, because we believe these things very much.
Yes. So,
yep. Yeah. Don't give up, my brother. Oh, and I'm sorry, Nikki. I didn't mean to come down hard on you on that whole thing about Tina Rogner. but I wanted to kind of flesh that out so that people understand what happens to so many of these legislators. It's just it's such an unfortunate thing to see. Rarely have I seen I've seen tons of legislators get into office and then moderate. I don't think I've ever watched a legislator get into office and then go to the become more conservative.
Yeah, the poll is to the center. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's insane.
Unless you are truly on your knees every night to the Lord and talking to your districts all the time. These people are so easy to break. So
Yeah,
here's
so
here's
true.
my favorite comment of the night.
Nice.
Yeah, love the Hawaiian vibe, guys. Absolutely, it's
Yes,
beautiful.
we got the memo.
Yep, we got the memo. What else? What else, Rob? Let's run through the state house races again real quick, can we?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go to House District 31 was the first one, I think. Here.
Yep.
66-33. Looks like that's staying pretty steady.
Is the percent have the percentages gone up or not?
Looks like they have gone up a little bit, but it looks like these vote percentages have stayed roughly the same. I think Stephanie's is a little bit higher now. 33.8. I think it was more like 33 and a third last time we looked. So a little bit of an improvement here, but still plenty of votes still to come in, but I think it's going to be tough to overcome.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. We'll see. Now let's go to let's see. There's 31, 40. Let's see. Looks like Christina Hagan is going to win 48.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I kind of thought that was a foregone conclusion the moment she launched her campaign.
Oh yeah. Yep. Let's see. Looks like Sean Stevens still ahead. Looks like he's increased his lead a little bit. Looks like 55.9, 44.05. Let me just see the Delaware County here.
Still only 54% of Delaware County reporting, so something's going on there. And Brenner, could he still pull this out? Isn't that his? Wouldn't that be his stronghold?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because I mean, that's where Andy's from. That's where he's represented for years, almost 2 decades now. In fact,
but look at the percentages.
Yeah, but he's still losing his home county. I mean, obviously Sean lives there as well. I think he lives in like the Sunbury area. I could be wrong, but you know, so they're both from there. But the fact of the matter is, Andy's been representing Delaware County for a very long time, and is not currently losing it in his home turf.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you know, it's kind of funny because Andy Brenner was out there. Like Gary Click had posted on his Facebook page and said, "Andy, you're one of the most conservative people I know." And Andy, in response to a whole bunch of people that were questioning his bona fides, had screenshot that comment by Gary Click. He cut off the Gary Click part of it, and he was just like posting that image to make it look like some rando had said that he's this super conservative guy, but it was just another like House member, and they were both in a primary. So it's going to be kind of embarrassing for somebody like Gary Click, who barely squeaked by, you know, to be able to come back in there. I'm just gonna be like, dude, I think you were the kiss of death to Andy Brenner.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Okay, so we got that in 61. Let me go back. I hate how it doesn't go right back to where I was on.
I know. I don't like it either. Looks like 66. I think Sean Hudson has got this one in the bag versus Aiden Haggard, but Aiden was obviously the challenger in this race. So, and a pretty young guy, I think, in his early 20s.
Stay in the fight, Aiden.
Yeah,
stay in the fight.
That's still a respectable vote count to an establishment. I would say most likely more establishment kind of character. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So what else?
Let's see. I'm going to keep going here. Patty Rocky's coming ahead 70-30 to Brandon Moskwa. She's got that one easy, but yeah, that's another case of establishment money.
Who was in 81 then? Right now?
That was Jim Hoops, I believe.
Hoops,
I think that's Hoops' district. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a net wash for Huffman.
Yes.
So that's not a bad thing. So
Yes. Yep. So let's see here.
He's gonna have a pickup with Ben Weber.
Yep, Ben Weber.
Looks like
Well,
that
actually,
one.
no. Well, that was Tracy Richardson. Well, I guess she was on. Was she with Stevens? I forget. For speaker.
Yeah, but she's one of those that had become a full-time Huffman acolyte, right?
Okay, yeah. Then that might not be that huge. That a pickup.
Not a pickup, then it'd be the same. All right.
Yeah, and then obviously Gary Click is a retention, so that's not
yeah,
a net positive.
that big dumb retard barely won re-election. That's too funny. And and all we did was have a good time in the whole process, and
that's right.
Got to wreck his spring, so that's pretty fun.
That's right. Let's see.
And
Jason
made him have to spend a lot of money. District 93, Jason Stevens coming back for his final term.
That's what. Yep. I think that's pretty likely at this point.
Pretty slam dunk, and that's another race where, I mean, he was getting all the mailer treatment too. You know, Larry Kidd had Huffman behind him.
That's right.
Running all the things into there.
And then
again, we got Ron Ferguson coming back to be a full-time thorn in the side. And boy, that looks like a real ass kicking at this.
That's pretty big.
An ass whooping right there.
That's pretty big, and it looks like most of the votes in, with only just a handful of precincts still yet to come in. So
yeah,
Ron's got that one 100% in the bag.
Good job, Ron. Well done, sir.
Yeah, that was a very, very good campaign there. Very strong showing right there of strength.
Yes.
Let's see. That's it for the House races. Let's go check out. I see a comment. Somebody wants to know about Congressional 13. We'll take a look at that here in a second. I just want to jump over to State Senator quick.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Our nail biter race. Craig Riedel versus Jim Hoops. There's still just about 1% separating these two. 100, 100, 100, 47, 84. Okay, so there's only 4 precincts left in Williams County, with Jim Hoops with the lead there. And then
less than 500 votes separating them in a Senate district.
That's in a Senate district where there's been how many votes cast? 41,000 votes.
41,000.
Dang. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's nuts, bro. I mean, that's nuts. But yeah, it looks like we got still more than half of Hardin to come in, with Craig Riedel having a nice healthy lead in the votes there. That'll probably stay pretty close to where it is now. But with Williams County, 4 more precincts, I'm assuming they'll lean in Jim Hoops' favor. But I don't know. It's going to be hard for Jim Hoops to make this up, because I think these Hardin County precincts will probably swing heavily in Craig Riedel's favor. I
don't see Hoops making up these votes. It's pretty.
So he's already down by about 500 votes.
Yeah.
Already to start with, and so I think it's going to be hard to make that up. But it could very well still tighten slightly more. This one may go to a recount. I think if they're within 1%, that's a statistical, or 1% or 0.5%. I forget what the statistical tie is. Wow, tongue tied tonight. But that one might go to a recount. But it looks like Craig Riedel is definitely probably the favorite to pull this out. That'd be my guess.
Yeah.
So let's go to Senate District 19, where it looks like Ryan Rivers still has a 53.3% lead to Beth Lear's 46 2/3. And it looks like Delaware, okay, they're still at about 54%, which that hasn't changed in a while. So I don't know what's going on in Delaware County.
No, me either.
There's still a lot of votes still outstanding. So we're going to see if this 52 48 holds, or if Beth can get more.
If she comes into a pocket somewhere, dang.
Yeah.
She could, she could pull this off.
Yeah, she's definitely I think her strongest section is probably on the easternmost side of the county, and plus, it depends on where these precincts are from, really, I think.
Yep.
So I think that's about it. Okay, so let's get to Teresa. Thanks for joining us tonight. How's Margaret Bream doing? Let's just take a look here real quick, just for fun. We'll go to District 13 Congressional. Looks like Kerry Coleman, 46.75%. Definitely the favorite here. Margaret Bream at about 17.5%. So not quite enough to pull it out. I'd probably say, okay, there's still a lot of the votes still to come in, but looks like Kerry Coleman's definitely got the lion's share. Um, I think it's going to be hard for anybody to beat him at this point.
Yeah.
So that'd be my guess. But yeah, you're sitting at about 17.5% for Margaret Bream right now.
Yeah. Look at Congressional 9. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, that's right. I guess we have that. That's another one we haven't really dug into much, but
Yeah.
looks like Derek Marin has a pretty good healthy lead there to Josh Williams' 25 and Madison Sheehan's 20%. Let's look at the county breakdown here.
Both
like,
we've worked with both Derek Marin and with Josh Williams over the years, and both of them have excellent records. I think.
Yep.
Did Josh Williams not survey with us this time around?
No, he did.
He did.
Him and Derek both surveyed. The other candidates did not. I think we gave them both an A rating for their pro gun records in Columbus. So both solid candidates.
We were fine with either one of them, and boy, howdy, do we need the winner of this one to take a political wrecking ball to Marcy Kaptur's legislative career and expose her for the gun-grabbing communist, hate America leftist that she is.
Right.
So,
yep. But I'd say
it's gonna be a tough one, though, right?
Oh yeah. Now that'll be tough because I think after they redrew that district, they didn't give. I think they gave Republicans a slight edge, but not a lot. They could have done better, and they should have. So shame on them.
Absolutely, that's a Matt Huffman screw up.
They could have definitely drew that one more favorable. So I think Marcy Kaptur's got a good chance at retaining the seat if something happens goes awry. But looks like Derek Marin's definitely the favorite to advance here. So
thanks a lot, Matt Huffman. You stupid retard.
Yeah. Same with the first congressional. I think they made that one barely or a very even split when they could have made that one much more conservative.
Why on earth would you do that?
I don't know either.
Look at Nikki French go down there.
Yeah, let's go look at Dave Joyce, Nikki French go. Let's see.
That is one heck of a race and an indictment on Dave Joyce.
Yeah.
She's pulling out 30%, and Dave, I mean, she probably spent what, 20 grand on this entire race? Maybe 50. Meanwhile, Dave Joyce has the entire Washington lobby corps behind him and unlimited amounts of money, and she still peeled 30% off of that worthless rhino trash ball's political carcass. Well done.
That's
Nikki Frenchko.
For a challenger, that's not bad. And I think that shows to the weakness of Dave Joyce as a candidate.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting. This will be an interesting general election because this district is definitely in the Republicans' favor, but I don't think it's as Republican as other ones. So we'll see.
Dave Joyce voted for Joe Biden's bipartisan Safer Communities gun control bill, the most significant gun control bill to pass Congress in 30 years. Dave Joyce voted for that crap.
Yeah.
So just as total slap on the face. And, it's honestly, it's really up to the voters in that district to get him out. It's their responsibility to do it. So when you keep reelecting a trash ball to Congress cycle after cycle after cycle, eventually you got to ask questions. What the heck is going on up there, and why can't you people get your together?
Right. Well, and how can you expect anything different to happen?
Right.
Electing
you get what you friggin' deserve, as they say. And I think you can see gun owners are very well represented. Nikki Frenchko, she did such a great job of making gun rights a part of her plank, a part of her campaign. And so you can see the power of gun voters up there in that district represented in these numbers. But the rest of you, what the crap are you thinking?
Yeah.
Who are these 47,787 Republicans there in District 14 that are voting for this retard?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you people?
Yeah, I
You
wonder
gun
that
owners,
too.
you voted for Frenchco. You guys are awesome. I love you. That's why we're very proud to represent you at the State House. But the rest of you are lunatics.
Fair enough. All right,
Rob, like,
let's see.
dang, Chris, you only had 1.5. And by the way, this blueberry is not good. Not good.
That's too bad. Can't waste it though. Can't waste it. Sorry, those are the rules. But how's the Republican candidate for House District 6? I know that's not one of the ones we were tracking, but I'll just go there here real quick for you, Stefan. Let's see. House District 6. I don't know if you mean Ohio House or the U.S. House, but state representative, this Matthew Jackson's unopposed. I don't know, but I'll just look at the Congress real quick here, just in case if that's what you mean. Congressional District 6, Michael Ruley is ahead 77.5 to Julie Kelly's 22.4%. So if that's what you mean, there's the results there for you. Let's see, how's King doing for Supreme Court? Well, we can go look at that here real quick too. Let's see, Justice of the Supreme Court. Looks like Andrew King 30.35, Colleen O'Donnell's 32.28%. So this race is definitely coming down to the wire, but let's just see. I think we're at 70. We're more than 3/4 of the way through this through these results, through the vote count. So there's not a lot of votes yet to count. So we'll see how these numbers change, but that's where things stand at right now.
Yeah. I love this comment right here. I meant state. Mike Carey is my congressional rep. He's a crap rhino. Thanks, though. You're absolutely right, Stefan, or Stephen, however you say it. But Mike Carey, just like last week, voted against Trump's effort to repeal the temporary protection status for these Haitians.
I couldn't believe that. I mean, what's the definition of the word temporary?
Right.
You know, and if things are not temporary, what's the opposite of temporary? Permanent.
Permanent. It's a total they've turned into a total amnesty program.
Yeah, and, if you cannot commit to getting these people out of our country, then that's de facto amnesty. That's just the fact. I mean, that's just what it is.
That's exactly what it is. People like Mike Carey should be loaded up on a plane and parachuted into Haiti himself at that point. So if you are going to side with foreigners against our own people, the Bible's very clear about this. He that provideth not for his own is worse than an unbeliever. When you, as a member of Congress elected by your district, screw your district over in deference and favor to a group of criminals at this point who are simply here to fleece our system for everything that it's worth, you're one of those people who's worse than an unbeliever. So put him on a plane, deport him. It's time for Mike Carey to go. And sadly, Stefan, he's your congressman.
Right.
So good news on the Vivek front, I would say tonight. In this primary, he's at like 82% against Casey Putsch and company. But the other number here is more important, I think, as they begin to look at the general election. He's got 568,000 votes, and Amy Acton has 592,000. So he's only losing to Amy Acton now on a straight up comparison by 24,000 votes.
Yeah.
So that's not an insurmountable number. The question is, how many of those Casey Putsch voters can you get to come over and vote for you?
Right. And that's gonna be the question.
That's the question. Yeah. And again, this is an uncontested Democrat primary. She's putting up pretty good numbers here.
Yeah.
For not having anything else. And honestly, the congressional, there's a lot of factors here that are turning out, votes from the Democrat side, of course. But the top of the ticket is the number one driver.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of that, Chris, I'm going to look at something real quick just to see here. So let's keep in mind 49,422. Now I'm going to just jump quickly now to the, like, for example, the Secretary of State's race, because there was a contested Democrat primary for Secretary of State, 560,677. So let's see, where does that compare? 560, 677. Okay, so that's actually more. Okay, wow, that's interesting. More votes for the uncontested Amy Acton than there are for the contested Allison Russo versus Brian Hambly. That is very interesting. I'm just looking at some of the other statewides here.
Yeah.
Just to see. 523. Wow. Amy Acton got the most votes on an uncontested race out of all the other statewide offices. That's interesting. But we didn't look at, though. We didn't look at the U.S. Senator either. Check this out right here. 614,635 votes for U.S. Senator. So let's see. Is that more than Amy's? That is more than Amy's. Okay. Now that's interesting too. So I'd probably guess that this is probably the real number. Closer to the real number. Let's say real number of Democrats that walked into a voting booth or voted early, because a lot of them vote early.
Yeah.
And pulled a Democrat ballot to vote for this race. Okay. And this is also very interesting here. 629 votes for John Husted for U.S. Senator in an uncontested race for U.S. Senate. Meanwhile, so 629,000. Meanwhile, you have 568,555 voted for Vivek Ramaswamy and Bob McCauley. So that is that's
Ooh.
So you've got a deficit of, well, let me just do some quick math here. Let's see.
Ooh.
629 minus here. I'm getting there. Just bear with me here.
Yep.
568, 555. That is a deficit. Oh, I did something wrong. Whoops. I did something wrong. I apologize. I'm going to have to do it again. I think I put a decimal instead of just letting it ride. So let's do that again. Let's do that again. All right. Okay, I promise I won't mess it up this time. 407. Okay. That's a deficit of 44,767 votes. So there's all that to say is there's over 44,000 people that pulled the lever for the uncontested John Husted that did not vote for Vivek Ramaswamy for governor.
But did they then vote for Casey Putsch?
Possibly. There's probably some of that here.
Yeah.
But what that shows me is that they either voted, some of those people, they either voted for, let's see, 645, but there were 710 total votes cast for governor on the Republican side. So, there's probably some people that might have voted for Casey or Vivek and left John Husted's contest open. But there could also be some people that voted for John Husted and also left the governor's contest open too.
Yes. It's very clear, though, that John Husted is going to be the top ticket driver at this point. And also, Axios and Politico reported last week that John Husted, the Senate SRCC, has pledged $79 million in this Ohio Senate race. It's the number one state or a U.S. Senate race in the entire country that the SRCC is committing to.
Yeah.
So every one of these campaigns are going to be hooking into the Husted machine and saying, please carry us across the finish line. I'd say that just looking at this right here from the numbers, Sherrod Brown had this contested primary tonight that really wasn't against this Ron Kincaid guy. They put 637,000 votes on the board. The Democrats, of course, unify. Every single person who voted for Kincaid is going to be voting for Sherrod Brown on election night. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
Kincaid will be out there stumping for Sherrod Brown 100%. But if I'm the Democrats and I'm looking at these numbers, I'm surely not super discouraged tonight.
Yeah.
Everything that we're looking at here says that Democrats are within striking distance of victory.
Oh yeah, I mean, even if you just look at the total ballots, total votes cast for Democrats versus Republicans for U.S. Senate, I mean that's less than a 10,000 vote margin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
Yeah, and
let's
I
face it.
understand that the dynamics are totally different between, primary elections and general
Oh
elections. They're
sure.
totally different machines, different ball games, and everything entirely. But the point here is that um, just taking a look at this and these numbers, the Democrat machine is not going to be de-incentivized towards throwing money at this race. They're
Oh yeah.
absolutely looking at this and saying, okay, there's going to be a lot of Trump voters, MAGA voters that don't see Trump on the ballot, and they're just not going to come out.
Yeah.
So we have every chance of winning these things. So it'd be one thing if they're outperforming them by 25% or 20% tonight. That's not happening. So the Democrats surely aren't going to be given any reason for pause tonight.
Yeah. Well, and think about this too. I mean, just to put this into perspective, I mean, Democrats across the state didn't really have much to vote for.
Right.
There were not a lot of contested races. There were a few, but there was definitely much more attention put on the Republican side of things. A lot more contested races to be voted on the Republican ticket. Um, so the fact that with not that much for Democrats to vote on, they're still polling out less than 10,000 votes less than Republicans. Um, that's pretty healthy, I think, for Democrats.
Yeah.
So for better or for worse, that's I think that's something worth keeping in mind as we get closer to um, the general election for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot that's going to have to be discussed. Zach Cottrell says, "Will you guys vote Vivek now?" And he's got a Casey Putsch, avatar, and it's like, well, the question is now, can Vivek do a good? I mean, can he sell to everybody that Ohio has to completely change and become like California? Can he
Right.
make that sales pitch and make it stick?
Well, and I think it's not so much will you guys vote Vivek now? It's more so will Vivek close the sale?
Exactly.
Will
Yeah.
he earn their vote?
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
question.
Because if there's one thing we don't do here is we don't do the bandwagon stuff, and everybody's like, well, do you want Lion Amy Acton to be governor? Of course not. But the question is, how can Vivek make it so that my principles aren't violated in the process here of voting?
Right.
Or how can Vivek close the sale with somebody from Adams County, Ohio, who does not want their way of life totally destroyed by one of these data centers, or Scioto County, which is going to be the site of the biggest data center in the world, owned by a Japanese company, when they're
Right.
setting up a great big electrical generation facility there, to extract Ohio natural gas out of the ground to funnel to power this data center. Instead of using that natural gas to make the lives of Ohioans better, it's going right into this Japanese owned, largest in the world data center. This is what all these big global oligarchs want for the people of Ohio. That's the
Yep.
message now. It's not so much me, but that's the message that the Vivek campaign is now tasked with going out and trying to close the sale with enough people to overcome Amy Acton. So
Yeah.
it's
Agreed.
not about me. It's about them now convincing these people that that's
Yeah.
the way forward. Because we've talked about this before, Rob. Our membership has been very divided on this.
Yeah.
We've got we've Christians, we've got true blue Ohioans who have been here since the beginning of Ohio. And there's a real battle going on right now with so many people as to what it means to be an American, and And you've got Vivek saying, well, it takes legal status and paperwork. And you have to believe in a set of things. And then on the other side, you've got generational Ohioans who have been here since the beginning. They didn't come here as immigrants. They came here as settlers, as
Yeah.
pioneers, the people who literally built everything from the ground up. They didn't come in and say, oh, wow, this is a great thing. I'm glad to be here. I'm going to take full advantage of all the resources, and now I'm going to make my million.
Yeah.
So there's a huge cultural clash that is happening here between people who just think that Ohio can be something else, and that's what our vision for Ohio needs to be, what it becomes. And there's the people who are like, well, no, economic growth isn't the most important thing. I don't really care to be viewed as just an economic unit. I'm a cultural Ohioan.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are asking the question: economic growth at what cost?
At what cost?
Yeah, who's the beneficiary?
Yeah.
Am I getting the jobs? Am I getting the benefit, or am I paying higher costs because electricity now costs more, water costs more, gas costs more? I'm laid off at my job because I got replaced by some foreigner, a visa,
or a robot.
So it's just, or some AI automation. So
and that's why I keep talking about the Ohio River Valley and all these manufacturing hubs all over the state of Ohio. Like, you're talking about places where it's been a generational working class people that have been screwed over by government before. NAFTA destroying everything. These people have been screwed over by people who said that things were all going to be done for their betterment in the past, and they have grandparents or fathers who were totally screwed in life by those policies. And then you got this new generation of people saying, well, no, AI is going to solve everything, and these robots are going to do, and everything's just going to be great. We'll have universal basic income. And there's so many people who are like, well, screw that. I don't want any of that at all.
Yeah, that's not what my family did. They're built,
right.
We didn't get this far to do that.
Right. Now, my family was part of the Pennsylvania pioneer, and so they didn't make it as far as the Ohio. But
my family did.
I was gonna say your family did.
I recently discovered that my family emigrated from Switzerland, Swiss German. I emigrated to Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I had patriots in my family that fought in the Revolutionary War, moved to Ohio, to Ross County. They've been farmers out there for a long time. Still have members of the family out there. A member of my family actually. What's that?
Those are called settlers.
Yes,
they're not immigrants.
Yeah, we were settlers. That's correct.
Yeah.
Conquerors. We conquered this land for Christ and for everything that made America great.
Helped build it.
That's right. And then members of my family founded the city of New Philadelphia up in Tuscarawas County. Members of my family owned the land that Wright-Patterson Air Force Base currently sits on. So I had members of my family that were in the War of 1812, the Revolutionary War. I mean, you name it, on both sides of the family. So roots run deep here.
So. Yeah. And that's something that this campaign, the Vivek campaign, is going to have to deal with head on, because he keeps doubling down on that issue. And there's so many people, like the H-1B visa issue is going to play a huge role.
Yes.
We've watched so many places in the country. I have a sister that lives in Texas, and Texas is just being destroyed. These foreigners are taking all their jobs. They get preferential treatment in the school system. They get, a lot of them get into positions within these big tech companies, and then they hire their own. They don't hire Americans, and so the problem metastasizes and grows.
Right.
And a lot of Ohioans are seeing what's happening there, and they're like, well, maybe we don't want that here.
Yeah.
Maybe that isn't what I want. So that's the challenge of the Ramaswamy campaign going into this general election in November. So it's going to be one heck of a fight. I'll tell you that right now. Amy Acton is a gun grabbing communist.
Yeah, no question.
And what's that?
No question about it.
No question about it. And I know exactly what she wants to do. The question is, if she wins, can she flip chambers? I don't know. We have a lot of rhinos in the legislature, though. So the question is, can she get that? If she wins and they flip enough House seats in the General Assembly, can they bully the legislature into passing gun control like we've watched Republicans do in other states? I like our chances in that situation. I think we can stop a lot of that bad stuff from passing, but governors have all kinds of power at their disposal. And we don't even like thinking about that, but we'd be fools if we didn't start preparing for it, for that possibility. So,
Right. Yep.
um, what else is going on?
Well, I see Casey's now at 17.76%. That's a pretty good number. I like 1776, that's for sure.
Very nice.
Let's see. I'm trying to see if anyone has any more anyone has any other updates or any other races they want to see. I am not seeing any. But I do want to check in on one more just because I'm dying to know. Senate District 1. Okay, looks like Craig Riedel has actually increased his lead, his margin, in the Senate District 1 race. So it looks like Hardin County is 100% in now. And Williams County still has there's still those 4 precincts outstanding in Williams County. So so it looks like the margin to beat is what would that be? About 1,000 votes? No, almost 2,000 votes.
Yeah, 2.
So that's the margin to beat. So the question is, can Jim Hoops pull almost 2,000 votes out of Williams County at a rate of about 57%? I don't know. I think the odds are still against him there, especially considering that there's not even 2,000 votes separating them here. So I think I don't know. I'd say Jim Hoops has an upward battle here if he wants to pull this one off.
Well,
see if Delaware County's checked in at all. Let's see. 48-51. I think that's closer. I don't know exactly. I can't remember exactly what the margin was, but I think that's closer for Beth Lear versus Ryan Rivers. Let's see. Delaware. Okay, Delaware's 100% in. Okay, that is a big development right there. Looks like Beth did increase her margin of victory here in Delaware, but it looks like all the precincts are in, and looks like Ryan Rivers is victorious here. Is that your read here, Chris? Because I think that's what I'm seeing.
That's what it is.
Looks like Ryan has won, and outside of the recount threshold. So, looks like that's that race in the bag. But now since Delaware County's in, Chris, let's look at the most fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm scrolling over to
House District 61.
House District 61.
Let's see. Looks like Andy Brenner 42.9. Okay, he went. Okay, Brenner lost some vote count, and Sean Stevens benefited 57.1, 42.9.
I'm quite convinced that the Brenner effect is also what took down Beth Lear.
I think so, because
I'm quite convinced. This is such a resounding ass whipping of Andy Brenner tonight that I think it carried over, and it was just kind of a guilt by association sort of a thing. Yeah. Beth Lear was leagues above Andy Brenner.
Yes,
she had way more courage and chutzpah than that little weenie could ever muster. And I think his stink got so bad in that whole county for being a total career political hack that they just essentially vomited him out and anybody that was close by to him.
Right.
So I hate to have to say it that way, but the guy just took out probably the most conservative. One she would have easily been top 3 of the most conservative members of the Senate had she made it over there. I mean, there's a
Oh,
real
I agree.
dearth in solid conservative members of the state Senate.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree. But I think we're also missing another point here, and that is the fact that Beth still was not termed out in the House. You know,
yeah,
she didn't have to give up her state representative seat.
yeah,
But she did.
and there's a lot of bad political will that was going around up there about that issue. So,
Right.
well, you know what? Ryan Rivers is AQ rated.
That's right.
And you know what? That means he promised to be a fighter for your gun rights. So we'll hold him to it. And that's just what it is. So
Yep.
let me see here real quick.
Agreed. Let's look at the treasurer's race here real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like Jay's pulling this one ahead still. Okay, looks he's still got about a 44-ish thousand vote lead. That's a very healthy lead. So
yeah, that's I don't think that's going to be overcome.
Yeah.
By 86% of the vote is in.
Yeah.
According to the AP.
Yep.
And
yep.
He's at 53, she's at 47.
Yep.
So
yeah, so I'd say that one's probably going to land in Jay Edwards' favor by
and I'll be honest with everybody right now about this race. Back when Josh Mandel was the treasurer of the state of Ohio, he used that statewide office as a bully pulpit against the governor, against a whole bunch of against other statewide, etc. And that's exactly what Jay Edwards has been saying he's going to do. Also bring back the Josh Mandel, what was it called? The statewide checkbook, the online checkbook.
Yeah, the Ohio checkbook. Yeah, that was something that Josh Mandel started. Yeah.
Yeah. And to bring total transparency back into the financial transactions of the state. Who's getting what money where? And that would be a big deal if Jay follows through on it.
Yeah, but not just state government. I think the checkbook also extended into local governments as well, which I think sometimes is even more important to know where your money is going locally.
Yes. Yep. So that would be great. I would love for a statewide office holder like the state treasurer to just put out stuff and take on a corrupt administration. And honestly, if he wins the treasurer and Amy Acton becomes the governor, he'd be very well positioned to be a natural fight tool to fight back against her with. So, if she goes on a spending spree or even if Vivek gets into office, and it will be good to be able to track where every dollar is going. We want to know where all the fraud is happening, and this in a weaponized treasure would be a valuable asset. So
well, and I think for gun owners, I think Jay pledged to make sure that none of the state's money will be used to be weaponized against gun owners. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in the survey that both he and Christina signed, they pledged to make sure that they're not investing the state's money in companies that are actively working to restrict gun purchase. To debank conservatives or to use their ESG, their coding to not allow for gun purchases and ammo purchases, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yes, he sure did. And
those are all very good. That's all very good news for gun owners.
Yeah, that really is. So that's pretty cool. Honestly, I'd say an assessment of the night. Somebody like Andy Brenner, who was a full-time, Matt Huffman butt kisser. Like, seriously, it's disgusting. Him going down, that's a huge flex by gun owners. up in that district. There's a lot of gun owners up in that district. We got a huge list of them, and they
Right.
all got a big dose of the reality that is Andy Brenner in the last week here. And which, by the way, it's our royal pleasure, Andy, to have been able to speak to all the gun voters in your district and tell them the truth about you. It's a real pleasure to be able to do that on behalf of our membership. So I hope you, I hope this is a learning moment for you, Andy. I hope this is a learning moment for your wife. I hope this is a learning moment for the introduction of humility into your life, because you've been running around as a career politician, sitting on the sidelines of history, managing the decline of everything, and sitting there parroting, trying to convince everybody that you're something greater than what you are. So let this be a lesson to you, and let this be a lesson to all the rest of the Rhino establishment class. You are not untouchable. And gun voters will continue to organize to be able to expose you guys for the frauds that you are. Gary Click, it's going to be a real pleasure seeing you back at the State House again. You were a big, huge bunch of bluster, and you told everybody that your district was was in the bag, and that they loved you more than they ever have before. But a guy named Eric Watson, who you tried to mock and ridicule this entire time, came along and spent a fraction of what you did and nearly took your big dumbass out tonight. And so the good news is the end of your political career is coming right around the corner after these next 2 years. And it will be a wonderful thing to watch Eric probably come back in there and take that seat back anyway. To the rest of the political class who sits there and campaigns at election time and demand that everybody recognize you as being some pro-gun champions, well, I'd say that the message tonight is that a lot of people see you guys for the frauds that you are. This idea that we're just going to let you sit there and say that you're one thing and then don't really deliver anything once you have the opportunity. I think those days are coming to a close. We're watching that happen right now with this treasurer's race.
Yeah.
And then for the rest of you running on statewide, you're going to have to do a really good job of closing the sale now. You've got a lot of dissension within the ranks, and you're going to face a Democrat Party that is totally unified around one message, and that is to blank Donald Trump. You have a lot of coalition members that you have a lot of work to do in order to try to turn them out to the polls. Donald Trump is not on the ballot in November, and so it's an uphill climb for you guys. I would pivot right over to Senate President Rob McCauley, who is now the Republican nominee for lieutenant governor in the state of Ohio. The ball is in your court now, Rob. The ball is in your court. You are sitting on one of the most consequential pieces of pro-gun legislation in Ohio history. It is Al Catrona's Freedom to Carry Act. It's sitting in Christina Rogner's committee, and it needs to be passed and sent over to the House to show a separation between you and Speaker Matt Huffman, and to show to the people of Ohio that you're not a member of a permanent member of the establishment political class. This is your chance to deliver, to give people a reason to go to the polls and vote for you.
Right.
Instead of just a campaign saying that we aren't those people over there. So I would say just kind of a recap on tonight. Little bit of a mixed bag, some tremendous victories by some gun owners, in some of these establishment districts. The gun owners flexed their power big time, and it was a really solid showing on behalf of gun owners. So what else you got for Rob? Is there anything last we got to go over here?
Man, I can't really think of anything, and that was such a great little, monologue right there. I don't know how to follow that up, to be honest with you, but yeah, I just wanna echo what you just said. I mean, it was a good show, and even the races where, we had some pro-gun candidates facing some non-pro-gun candidates or some F-rated candidates, I'll say, that those people came up short. That's not always just a total defeat. I mean,
Right.
the fact that we had some challengers that spent fractions of money come within striking distance of well-entrenched, well-established, well-funded incumbents, I mean, speaks big volumes, about the power of gun owners and, like you said earlier on in the show, just never give up. Never give up, 'cause, as long as our God is on the throne, and he is, and, you have your guns, and we have our Second Amendment, there's always hope for Ohio and for America.
Yes.
So,
And we
um
like our odds.
that's
We
right.
really,
We do
we
too.
really do.
Yes.
All right, guys. With that, we're going to close it down. Thanks for jumping in here. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for liking the video. Thanks for sharing all the things that you do when you watch these things. Joe, Rob, it was kind of fun to do a little live stream and chit chat with some of the guys tonight.
Yeah, I agree. I like these, casual, late night, let's have a drink and talk politics, kind of
yeah,
streams. This is really nice. I
yeah.
like it.
It's a lot of fun.
If
It's
you guys
kind of
agree,
sad.
hit that share button. Hit
Yes,
like and share.
yes, please do. It's kind of sad to see not some of the old regulars
Yeah,
um,
I noticed. I noticed there was a few,
drop on in,
names
but
missing.
sometimes the how does it say, the animating contest for freedom is not for everybody, and sometimes you got to say things and take positions that are a little bit tougher than some people are comfortable with. So
Well
that's all
said,
I've got.
Teresa.
That's
So
all
I'll
I
throw
got.
this up here. Well said, Teresa. This makes me wanna fight harder. Amen, sister.
Yeah. See, it's people like you that keep us motivated to do what we do.
Yes.
So I really appreciate it when they speak up like that. It's a nice thing to do. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll be back with more information. Maybe we'll do another video kind of breaking down some of these races tomorrow. But until the next time we're here, thank you so much for watching and participating in tonight. And thank you for going out and voting pro-gun.